close my excess windows. No, I don't close my excess windows.
Oh.
Sorry, I was mumbling to myself. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I've been listening to the soundtracks for both these games. Obviously, I won't say spoilers or any of that jazz, because I can't base any knowledge from the track names anyways. I think the first of these has better music.
That's weird. You think they would, like, reuse them.
Yeah.
Time for gay attorney. They're all gay attorney. It's very funny how, like, I'm admittedly, and I have always been this way, I'm very, like, slow to warm to any fan base being like, these two characters are gay, but, like, Ace Attorney is probably one of the, like, most, oh, they're absolutely gay.
Unnecessary feelings.jpg.
Yeah. Edgeworth is extremely gay. Gace.
You love to see.
You love to see.
You love to.
Can, here, each of you guys talk one by one. I need to test something. Aram, say, like, 2 sentences.
Here's my first sentence, but my second sentence, I'm going to throw you for a loop and add in the word scrambus.
Is that a word?
Does it matter?
Civ's muted, so I guess Gunk, you're up.
Hi, I forgot that in this server I'm called the Gunk, and the reason I'm called the Gunk is I've been playing the new, well, not new, Digimon game, and I named myself the Gunk as my hacker name.
Okay, and then Civ.
Hey, I'm not the gunk. Sucks to be me, I guess.
I think you gotta turn yourself up a little bit, Civ.
Okay. There we go. That the little bit done in gunk. In this server, I'm named, thanks to you, lovely chat, I'm named Stink for Natra.
Let me I guess I will retweet your twat.
Civ, can you talk? Civ, can you talk a little bit more? I think you might have the crackle.
Oh goodness, no! I would like to not have the crackle today.
No, I don't hear it.
No,
Okay,
you're fine.
cool.
I thought I heard it, but I guess not.
Nope.
Yeah, it might be on your end, Will. Discord's been chopping you a tiny bit for me. Not a terrible amount, but
fabulous.
I would say I hear a faint crackle. It's not a big deal. It's not constant. It's just sometimes when Civ is speaking.
I don't want it.
All right.
Oh.
I've done everything.
Well, if you just did something, it made it a lot worse, but it sounds more like an internet blackout.
It's not.
Okay. Well, here we go. Hey, future me. Here sounds like a good part to cut it. Hello, welcome back to the 4th case of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Japanese Edgar Allan Poe Catman has been accused of a murder. A cute couple.
A stabbing.
Yeah, a stabbing that I'm sure will later turn into a murder because they've never done not a murder. They've pretended, but it always turns into a murder. A cute couple saw him running away and were trying to refute them, and honestly, that's about all that's happened. It's been a good amount of legwork to get not very far in this case.
Yeah, there's a lot of faffing in this one.
It's not even like fluff or like padding, because like we're getting more info. It's just not a lot's happening. Spirit of Justice had one that wasn't a murder. Remember Politician? Yeah, remember how he was a murderer, actually? And that was the surprise twist of that case.
Spoilers.
I have considered the defense's counsel request for further space examination.
Nice accent.
Excuse me, sorry, I had 3 coffees over the recess. And I have determined the court must uphold the defense's judicial right to this procedure. So, counsel, you will now proceed with your second summation examination. I presume the jury is ready, Mr. Foreman? Was Will,
That's
I
you,
think?
Will.
Is you Will?
All right.
We are, my lord. Sorry, my mom had just called.
Very good. In that case, as soon as the foreman is finished speaking with his mother, I will ask each of you now to state clearly and concisely for the court the grounds on which you find the defendant guilty of this crime.
Will that be the grounds of London, sire?
Executed.
Oh!
The accused left behind evidence at the scene, didn't he? Those 3 books of his.
If there was some novel alternative... Well, oof. I just got off of a different session and my brain is doing bad at the reading words, so let's see if I can kill myself. If there was some novel alternative explanation about how the victim was stabbed, I might reconsider.
Even if the woman was throwing books, it can't be related to this crime if the window was closed, can it?
Dearie me, it was only a little book, hardly life-threatening, even with a direct hit.
That's what you think.
Long I just want to get this over with. If I don't bring home some pay tonight, I'll be in a tidy bit of trouble.
Oh, sorry, my window closed. Come to think of it, we had a fire at home a while ago. It gave me the sneezes.
A fire?
Yes, considerably more tangible arguments from all members of the jury this time around, it seems. With one notable exception, of course.
My learned student friend was unable to find fault in the previous witness testimony. So, the court must accept the fact that it was indeed the accused seen fleeing from the scene. And moreover, no one else was even at the scene to commit the crime.
If the eyewitnesses are correct, it would seem as if the conclusion is somewhat set in stone. I fail to see how it can be argued any other way.
That means, I'm afraid, that during the summation examination, it's essential that you establish some other tangible explanation for the facts.
But how? What would even constitute a tangible explanation here?
Isn't it obvious? Who stabbed the woman and how? Those 2 details are all you need to provide. Simply give us a name and a method by which the attack was conducted.
And there I was thinking this might be hard.
But Mr. Naruhodo, you have to do it! Otherwise, this really will be the final testimony!
No pressure then.
That's quite enough preamble. Proceed with the summation examination, please. I presume you are prepared, counsel.
Oh, yes, my lord. All right, Ryunosuke, focus your mind now. Slap, slap. Slap, slap, slap. Clap, clap, clap. Clearly...
Hold on, Amy needs for a second.
Okay. Clearly, the key to this summation examination is going to be juror number 4, the maid. Or should I say Mrs. Garadeb? Oops. That's fine, Civ isn't here.
I'm sorry, no, I need to stop everybody to say that Amy just came in to interrupt and say, I just tuned into the stream and I saw the Vampire Man. Oh, God bless.
Oh, this is me!
Yeah.
I wasn't sure. We have a book that disappeared from the Garadeb's house on the evening of the incident. And the 4th book found in the victim's hand.
There must be a way to link the 2. Yes, that's what we have to find. Using every technique I've learnt in my short career so far. Whatever it takes.
Don't forget to keep an eye on Miss Garadeb and how she reacts, even to the things other people say.
Okay.
Sorry, Mrs. Garadeb.
Yeah, I keep doing that too. I don't know why.
Maybe because Merce is spelt Merce.
So you put that Merce in a hearse?
Okay, so I imagine what we're leading to is that she also threw the knife out a window.
Yeah.
Okay. Can't be related to this crime. Well, let's check. Was the window closed? Press. But what about the possibility that the window was open?
What about it? I mean, there's just no way it could have been.
How can you be so sure?
The prosecutor fellow over there said it earlier, didn't he? Winters in London are no joke. You don't want to invite that sort of cold indoors.
Sorry, I just got a package.
So no, that window wasn't open. Us Londoners like sitting by the fire and staying warm, see?
But you couldn't categorically state that the window wasn't open, could you?
It just wasn't. They wouldn't have opened it.
Then what was the point in even having windows? Huh?
Counsel, you will kindly refrain from childish bickering.
Oh, sorry. Somehow I need to show there's an undeniable possibility that the window was open. Because this young man isn't going to budge otherwise, alright?
Good. Let the hate flow through you, my learned friend.
But the little book was on fire at the time, was it not?
With the flames of love, I'll have you know.
There's really no such thing as a loving incendiary bomb.
Well, he brought it up upon himself. Is playing with fire to betray a fire of love, isn't it? Well, don't you agree?
Oh, well, any kind of betrayal is certainly a bad thing, yes. But I think the argument may have arisen out of your misunderstanding, Mrs. Garrideb.
Stop it. Never you mind that. The point is, we were just having a jovial little dispute, nothing more. And I won't have any more of these suggestions that there was anything whatsoever to do with this crime.
Right, well, we'll see about that. What about juror number 5?
Can you fucking stop?
He doesn't seem to be turning a hair at Mrs. Garrideb's relentless onslaughts.
It's almost as though he's used to it. What a gentle soul he is.
Interesting. Punches me. You just want to get this thing over with. How can you sit there and say something like that? A man's future is at stake here.
Well, him and me both then, like I said before.
What? Your accent is indecipherable.
I told you already, I'm a day labourer, aren't I? If I don't bring on some readies with me tonight, you'll find me floating face down in the Thames tomorrow morning.
What?
You heard me. My missus isn't one to mess about, you know. She can be fierce, believe you me.
Another shining example of marital bliss, then. Ugh, the straits are at it again.
Situation like this cropped up the other day. It was, it's funny, I can't remember.
Yeah, buddy.
Sorry?
It was too frightening, that's the thing. I must have blocked it out.
Helpful.
I wonder if Mr. B will ever be dragged into the Thames by his scarf.
Don't even go there, Miss Susato.
Jesus Christ.
There must be some way to jog his memory about this. Okay. Alright, let's talk about this fire, and maybe someone else will have a thought. Hold it! Hold it! Does that have anything to do with your decision about the defendant's culpability in this case?
Sorry, what's that? You'll have to speak up, lad.
Could you tell us more about that fire?
Oh, it was last winter. My grandchildren baked me a lovely cake on my birthday. It had 75 candles up the top, it did. What a sight to behold it was.
You put candles on a cake? Was it some kind of devil worship?
Of course not. It was an angel cake to celebrate my birthday, obviously.
It seems that's a common custom here in Great Britain, Mr. Naruhodo.
Oh, sorry.
Anyway, I didn't quite catch that. Anyway, I mustered all my puff to blow him out. Only I must have blown wrong somehow. The flames didn't go out, but candles went flying all over the room. The furniture caught and everything went up. The whole place filled with smoke.
Definitely sounds like devil worship to me. And by the sneezes, I presume you mean a cold. But how did you catch a cold from a fire?
What a fiasco it was. The grandchildren, bless them, threw water over me as they tried to put out the flames. And then, because the whole room had filled up with smoke, of course, we had to open all the windows to clear it, you dumb fuck.
The windows?
The biting winter air rushed over me like the devil dancing on my grave, it did. I should write a little novel. Caught a terrible cold from it, put me in a hospital for a while. I won't forget that birthday in a hurry.
I knew it was devil worship all along, but something about this old man's story is playing on my mind for some reason. Okay. Yep, I'm looking. I doubt I'm gonna get anything.
Oh, I was gonna say, well, we now have established a reason why you would open the window, which is to let the smoke out.
Yeah,
after
but
the fire.
I don't think we've actually changed. Like, it's
Can
Oh,
you
no,
not
okay.
hit
I didn't see
fat
that this...
guy again. Oh, okay.
I didn't think that this changed. Okay.
I see.
Okay.
Against Smiling Sam, right? Because
Yeah.
he's like, there's no way you'd ever open the window.
Objection.
The two jurors' statements clearly contradict one another.
Oh, fuck. I guess I'm sorry, I led you astray.
Don't point at me again, I told you it wasn't me.
What's that you say? Speak up, lad, speak up!
Juror number 3, do you see?
Oh, me? See what, sir?
Did you hear juror number 6's account of his birthday celebrations last year? It seems, despite being a Londoner, he once opened his windows in the middle of winter.
Well, yes, of course, because it was an emergency. I mean, obviously, if the room was filled with smoke from a fire, then you'd be mad not to open the... Oh!
Exactly. On the day in question, at the time of the incident, there was a fire in the Garrideb household, and Mr. Garrideb had the following to say about it.
The whole place filled with smoke.
Oh, shit.
My hat!
I don't think I can go back. That you cannot deny would be in no way out of the ordinary. Can I move? Okay.
Me too, bro.
Are you allowed to immediately be like, hey, bitch, what the fuck? Okay.
Juror number 4, do you have something to say about that? Mrs. Garrideb.
Oh, dearie me! What is
Oh,
the meaning
sorry.
of this? How dare you cut me off? How dare you imply that I'm harder than who I really am?
It's imperative that you confirm something for the court. So please, it's time to drop the pretense now.
What is it?
Oh, you can scroll through dialogue too. Weird. Was that like a misclick? When the fire started in your house that day, did you or your husband open the window? Wow, I can. You can literally use the scroll wheel to go down. That's very strange.
What? I beg your pardon? What are you insinuating?
The room would have been thick with smoke after the carpet and bookcase caught fire as they did. In a situation like that, it's inconceivable that you wouldn't have opened the window.
And what if we did? Oh, all right then. Yes, you're right. My husband was frantically trying to open the window, which can't have been easy since I continue to give him a justly deserved book battering.
Even though your house was on fire.
Oh, you never stop throwing until the anger subsides. It would be terribly bad for the nerves to do otherwise.
Of course, I should have realized.
That's a significant step forward, Mr. Naruhodo. You've managed to establish that the window was open. We simply must have that added to Mrs. Garrideb's formal statement. I'm a little bean.
Okay.
And then maybe have her against...
Alright, I think I'm just gonna talk to her then. The fourth book found at the scene of the crime shows very obvious signs of fire damage. And the title of the book is The Lion's Pride. The same title, in fact, as the book that Mr. Garrideb told us he had been reading.
Oh, well, I really couldn't say.
On the day in question, did you or did you not throw at your husband the copy of The Lion's Pride that he had been reading?
I did. It was the first thing I could lay my hands on, so I hurled it straight at him. And now you come to mention it, yes. He was rather enjoying reading it, you're right.
Why did you not reveal this information to the court from the outset?
Because I couldn't, you insolent little man. I didn't remember. At times like that, you pick up and throw whatever you can lay your hands on, as well as you know.
Oh, you mean like a knife? I really don't.
Yes, no.
Oh.
I barely noticed I was throwing the book, much to the title of it.
This is like a Punch-Out just got damaged animation.
Just damaged.
Excuse me. What is it, juror number 5?
You know something? I remember what it was, that memory I blocked out.
Ah,
I was listening to what this granny was saying, brought it all flooding back.
Granny, she's not that old.
Who are you calling a granny, you cheeky devil? Or Mrs. Garrideb, or the maid, I'll have you know?
The man doesn't even flinch. Please tell me that's not because he's so used to being hit all the time. London is a nightmare.
It was about 2 weeks ago now. I just got back home after work, like. Put me hand in my pocket for the wages I just earned that day, and I nearly died. There was a hole. Every last penny had dropped out.
Oh dear, what a disaster.
All 3 of them that I earned for 18 hours of back-breaking labor. You haven't heard the half of it, boy.
2021.
Oh.
The wife was cutting up some chicken at the time. I could hardly get the words out, but I told her straight. I've lost a day's wages, love. Next thing I knew, the blade was whistling past me ear, stuck into the wall next to me, it did. About an inch deep.
Jesus.
No words, just terror.
I could smell it then, you know. That god-awful stench of the Thames. I was sure I was going to end up face down in the muddy banks that night, I can tell you. Ooh. Now, that's a real disaster, ain't it?
I'll never use the word lightly again.
Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is this. When women lose their rag, they'll throw anything at you. Knives, hatchets, hammers, you name it.
Mr. Naruhodo, you mustn't think that all women are so short-tempered and unrefined. Just the Brits.
You listen, Susato, I understand where you're coming from. You're not going to sell
Susato, smash!
You're not going to sell the concept of women to me.
That's fair.
No, I wasn't thinking that.
Throwing household objects at people is, well, it's so uncivilized. At least attack with honor, using a bow or the like.
What? Attack? Who are you going to attack?
Oh, never mind. Anyway, this man's words could be rather significant, I think.
All right, we'll come back to the bow and arrow thing later, if I dare. Yikes! Oh, god damn it. I think this is good enough to pit. Objection. These two statements clearly have a deeply significant connection.
Grief! You mean they don't contradict each other? Explain, counsel, at once!
Juror number 2, do you think perhaps that this could be one such novel alternative?
Oh my, whatever do you mean?
An alternative explanation as to how the victim was stabbed in the back.
What are you talking about?
We've demonstrated that the 4th book, The Lion's Pride, was found at the scene of the crime. Oh, that was found at the scene of the crime, originated in Mr. Garrideb's room on the top floor of his house. Therefore, it's equally possible that some other object besides the book could have found its way from the Garrideb household to the street below. After all, Mrs. Garrideb could have thrown any number of different objects at her husband. Isn't that right, juror number 4?
What are you insinuating now, you little beanpole?
I'm beginning to think that ever since the true origins of this book came to light, perhaps she's had a feeling this might be what happened.
Now you listen here.
I don't know.
You Japanese fellow. As the foreman of this jury, I demand a straight answer. You give us this yarn about some other object makes its way out of the house, but what? What was it?
I'm really taking a big gamble here. That was a bold accusation to make, but I haven't any real evidence to back it up. But I'm certain that at the very least this warrants further investigation. I want to check something real quick. So obviously we've got this knife.
Love this comment in chat. Time for everyone's favorite game. Is it racist? Anytime I get a word I've never seen before.
All right, Foreman. I'll try to explain the defense's theory. The other object that found its way from the Garrideb household to the scene of the crime was this little guy. Juror number 4, Mrs. Garrideb.
What now?
I must apologize in advance for this, but I need you to confirm something else for the court. This knife. Have you ever seen this knife before?
Good Lord, Counsel, what on earth are you doing? That's the weapon that was launched into the victim's back, man!
Shh, dude. I'm trying to lead her. My lord, remember that when the victim was attacked, Mr. and Mrs. Garrideb were in the throes of an argument. Mrs. Garrideb was hurling anything she could at her husband, who had been backed up against the window. A window that had been opened to clear the smoke, and through which a book sailed to land at the crime scene.
You can't seriously believe that! The book was found in the victim's grasp!
Are you saying that it flew out the window and across the street to land neatly in her hand?
Even my missus hasn't got a name like that.
Yes, I admit there are many details we don't yet understand. But that's the point. That's precisely why we must not allow this trial to end. Not right now.
Oh my.
Oh, good.
Mrs. Garrideb, your answer, please. Have you seen this knife before or not?
Oh,
I threw it at her.
See?
She's...
That's even half the distance and my precision was on point.
My lord, I wish to change my decision. I am a woman of my word, after all.
Thank you, madam.
Which is why I'm
Guys,
changing it.
even if the character is supposed to be partially Australian, Will can't do an Australian accent, so.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. Yes, I agree. I certainly didn't see this coming, but I just don't think it would be right for this trial to come to an end now with so many unanswered questions.
Mr. Foreman.
I'd have to agree. Not that I think the granny did it, mind.
Yes, you know what? I'm not quite happy about this at the moment either.
Double guilty.
All together now, ladies and gents.
Not me.
Yeah, old fat man is just like, kill him!
I don't know, it's happening.
We did it.
Oh, congratulations, Mr. Naruhodo!
So, as a result of the defense's summation examination, a number of jurors' leanings have changed. 2 jurors called guilty against 4 now calling innocent. Accordingly, the opinion of this court is divided, and this trial will continue.
God damn it.
Fuck. Oh, when did he lose his cape? Did I not notice?
He threw it away in anger a little while ago. It wasn't on this stream.
Oh.
Oh, that's me. Now then, Lord Van Zeeks, how does the prosecution wish to proceed?
Painfully.
This trial is rapidly descending into a farce. Like a corked wine, the first few sips are bitter enough. But what follows is so repugnant, it's good for nothing save the gutter.
If I may, Lord Van Zeeks, the defense has just put forward a credible alternative explanation for what happened.
Credible? Is that your considered opinion, Mr. Foreman? The defense's argument is a joke to which I barely know how to respond, but let me start by insisting that you must all familiarize yourselves better with the relative positions of those places being discussed.
What do you mean by that? What's his angle this time?
It should already be more than apparent that between the crime scene and the Garrideb household runs a rather wide street, Briar Road. Which means that the distance from the Garrideb's house to the scene is some, yes, 15 yards.
A distance anyone could easily jump, as previously discussed.
Were they to use their legs like helicopter blades?
Well,
like
as you know,
like Miles Tails per hour.
any one person in London around this time could be Spring-Heeled Jack, so it's perfectly plausible. Let me see, 15 yards, but it's about 14 meters.
14 meters? Oh, that's a little farther than I'd imagined. But they were on the 2nd floor, and they're small objects.
And as you ladies and gentlemen of the jury rightly noted as having portentous, such as totally blanked that word. The fourth book was found in the victim's clutches.
They threw the book out, she picked it up out of curiosity, and then the knife hit her.
In other words, the smoldering book, wantonly hurled by the lady of the house, traveled some 15 yards to land on the opposite side of the road, neatly between the collapsed victim's fingers and thumb.
Yes!
Is that your final conclusion, my learned and deluded friend? And did the jackknife follow a near identical trajectory to plunge into the middle of the victim's back? This fantasy is somewhat stretching the notion of having a bad day for the victim, I think. Even those pathetic serialized detective stories have more believable plots.
That's because I wrote them.
And I read the one with the snake. There's nothing I can say to that.
That prosecutor loves the sound of his own voice. I mean, well, you know.
Miss Susato.
Serialized detective stories are pathetic, are they? How dare he?
I love that she's a super fan of that. Maybe let's pick our battles here. Oops, sorry.
My lord, can you shut the fuck up?
As judicial assistant, you may speak for the defense, yes. Go ahead.
The prosecution may consider the idea a fantasy, but what the defense has postulated was believable enough to persuade the jury to change its leaning. And as such, the court has a duty to explore this alternative explanation as thoroughly as possible.
Fuck you.
To that end!
Apologize for saying those stories are dumb!
Juror number 4, Mrs. Joan Garrideb must be called to testify and submit to cross-examination.
Things alive! A cross-examination of a juror!
Powering down.
That sounds exactly as much of a conflict of interest as everything else about our jury system so far.
Order! 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 Well, this is highly irregular. It is unprecedented. Oh, fuck!
Sorry.
Objection! Whoops.
Ow!
And unnecessary.
Lord Van Zeeks?
There are already witnesses in the stand whose testimony the defense may further cross-examine. If my learned friend's farcical theory has any truth in it, then both a burning book and a jackknife must have flown through the sky before this couple's eyes.
It was foggy, you dumb fuck!
And we must assume they would be able to testify accordingly.
What say you, witnesses?
No thanks.
Yes, sir. Constable Rowley Beat reporting for duty, sir.
Well, good morning, officer.
Sorry for dozing until now, sir. I haven't slept for a month on account of a villain who's appeared on my beat, sir.
Oh, they are so heroic, these London bobbies.
Patricia, my darling, I've been neglecting you, but no more.
Oh, Rowley, my hero, you make me swoon.
Very well. I hereby reject the defense's request.
Oh,
And order the witnesses in the stand to testify again. State forthwith before the court any details pertaining to the defense's alternative explanation of events.
Yes, sir.
Someone in chat again. Oh, straights. I like these two. These two are great compared to the rest of these abusive couples.
I think that's really supposed to be it, is that these two are pure.
This case has nothing to do with Mr. and Mrs. Garrideb. Believe me, a London bobby is good for his word. You see, sir, the windows on the top floor of the Garrideb house are top-hinged casements.
obviously, if anything had been thrown out to the window, or out of the window, something would have happened. I didn't
We
catch
would
it.
have seen
I
it.
did leave the scene to go and fetch help, but my trusty Rowley was there to make sure nothing was disturbed.
Someone in chat, oh, they're a bi couple. That's the twist.
I didn't take my eye off the crime scene for one moment, sir. Nothing strange to report on that front, sir.
Well, this is quite startling. Top hinged casement windows!
That detail was not in the police report, Constable.
I'm sorry, I'm just a little man. Yes, sorry about that. I must have been a little drowsy.
You cannot excuse your sins with drowsiness every time, Constable.
No, sir.
Sorry, but
Chill out.
what exactly is a top-pitched casement window?
And you cannot excuse your ignorance with such trite remarks, my learned friend.
Of course, sorry.
I found it, Mr. Naruhodo. Cast your mind back to the windows in Mr. and Miss Garridib's room.
You know about windows in that? What does that book of yours not have? All right, I'll try.
It's a little book called Google.
So, the window opens in order to allow air to circulate inside the house. Incredible!
Oh.
Yeah, as it's a top-hinged casement window, it swings open along the upper edge, you see?
Oh, that sucks. That's not good for our case.
I'm glad you've rectified your ignorance. A casement window's most prominent feature is its stay, a metal bar which prevents the window from being opened beyond a certain amount.
It prevents its opening. This is all news to me.
Absolutely.
If these spaghettios...
If these spaghettios have offended, think but this and all is mended.
Absolutely correct, sir. In other words, if a book or knife were to have been thrown through the open window, I really like doing this guy's voice. It's slightly off of the usual Muppet I do, and it's interesting. It would have clattered against the pane and fallen straight down to the pavement below.
Can I make a prediction not really based on any evidence? But I've been thinking it since Van Zeeks was like, there's no way they could have thrown it that far. I think somehow things got fuckled and they were actually walking on the other side of the street from what we think.
Oh, yeah, could be.
You see the problem then? Good. Your education in Windows is complete.
Now
There was
please
never any
upgrade to Windows 10.
That's evil. Don't do that.
There was never any possibility of either the book or the knife traveling 15 yards over the road. That is, unless the window pane had been shattered, something we've discounted already.
That can't be. Sorry, I'm allergic.
A bee! I'm allergic! Ah!
Did you see that?
If my stinger has offended, please forgive the discourtesy.
If your what has offended?
Stinger, I'm a bee.
Oh, you're a bee. How lovely. Did you see that, Loli? That young Japanese man just collapsed in agony.
Oh yes, my darling. I saw it. I saw how he crumbled before me.
Oh, Loli, you're so strong.
We both get pegged.
We like to reenact the human centipede.
I haven't even started my cross-examination and I've already been pegged.
This is destroyed.
I heard it. That's enough.
Someone here to yell at us?
Amy's laughing at us through the walls.
Hi,
If you
Savvy.
could drag yourself upright again and correct your bow-legged stance, the court awaits your cross-examination.
My lord. Oh, good, another desperate situation.
Oh shit, hey Savvy!
Savvy, can you talk? You haven't said anything. If you are to...
Hello.
Oh, there you
Can you
are.
hear me?
Yes.
Hello.
there.
Hi Savvy!
Yes,
Hi.
I heard pegging, so I decided to arrive.
I really thought that was like Yam entering to yell at us.
Unfortunately, I'm just here to enable you.
Oh, that's not unfortunate for
Oh
anyone
yeah,
but Sid.
Savvy, like I'm not dead already. Surrounded by 3 clowns.
Now Savvy gets to sit
Well, now-
here and tut-tut at all of our British accents.
Unfortunately, the Omega Clown is here, so
Oh,
shit out of luck.
the OC.
This case has nothing to do with Mr. and Mrs. Garrett. Oh, I already did this. All right. Let's take a look in our history book. All right. Would you really have seen it?
But according to my notes here, the sun had gone down already and it was dark.
Oh, but Rowley and I were strolling along, gazing at the... No, you fucking weren't! It was foggy! You weren't looking at no stars!
Sorry, you're contradicting yourself.
The star... the happy star.
If a flaming book had cut across the sky in front of us, it would have lit up like a shooting star.
And if I'd seen a shooting star, I would have made a wish upon it. Let Rowley be an inspector, I would have said. 3 times at least.
Of course, what with the smog and everything, we couldn't actually see any stars.
In short, are you trying to say that neither a book nor a knife crossed the sky before
There's
you?
a cute comment in chat. They were looking into each other's eyes.
Aw.
Yes, sir, that is correct, sir. As sure as the night sky in London is starless, sir, we live in a nightmare.
It certainly seems like they're telling the truth.
And then we saw the poor woman fall to the ground, so we ran straight over to help her.
I'm just gonna keep pressing because I actually don't know what way to go here.
Yeah.
Yes, you said you went to a nearby police box to fetch another officer, is that right?
That's right, yes. If it had been Rowley on Rowley's beat, I would have known exactly where I was going, of course.
Don't feel bad, my love. You can't be expected to know the location of every police box on every beat.
So Rowley told me the way, only I sort of got a little lost on the way.
Patricia, my darling, that's why I love you. Your terrible sense of direction is bewitching to me. Oh, Pat.
Oh, Rowley.
It's too fucking
Hey, Jello.
suck. Yeah?
Hey, Jello, do you by any chance like this blonde hair?
Leave me alone!
Get his ass.
I'm here to call you out.
The entire chat was waiting the whole case. It's like, oh, Jello's gonna like these characters. And I do, but shut up! Oh, please. I love deeply, deeply gay Naruto. I'm just like, I'm Pat. Oh, Rowley. Oh, please.
So, I suppose I was gone for about 15 minutes. But like I said, my Rowley was at the scene the whole time, making sure everybody was stabbed.
I was off duty of stabbing at the time, but a true Bobby is never really off duty, sir. I'm a bit of a clown.
You're about to start. Wow, you're starting to sound like Sebastian with all that whining, Jello.
Oh,
Wow.
fucking scathing.
Damn.
The reviews are in. Fuck you.
Nothing to report.
That's correct, sir. I had my eyes wide open the entire time, never looked away for a second. No one else approached the scene and nothing was removed from it. I can swear to that on the yard's honour, sir.
Really? That seems a little strange. Yeah, because the book's missing.
I beg your pardon, sir.
Oh, wait, no, it's not. I'm an idiot.
Strange, sir? Seems altogether regular to me.
This burnt copy of The Lion's Pride was originally in the Garrett household. So the question remains, how did it find its way into the hand of the victim? Can you shed any light on that, seeing as you were at the scene of the crime the entire time?
No! Could it be a different copy, sir? One that just happened to be burnt as well?
Even if that were possible, why would the victim have been gripping a book like that in her hand?
Well, sometimes it's so cold we have to burn our books to keep warm. We're here in London or at the forefront of technology. I'm dying of the cholera.
Society on Earth.
I've got the cholera, which of course means my darling Pat has it as well.
It's okay though. We've been taking our bismuth real good, Mike.
What do you... I'm sorry, what are you implying by somehow transferring cholera to each other?
We've both got the cholera. I thought I took that off you already.
Shut up.
Wow, that's so much better than any gross joke I could have made. As we can see from this photographic print, she had a bag over her shoulder.
Well,
Savvy's about to throttle us Americans. Good thing for me, I'm not American.
That is true.
that
doesn't exempt you.
That book was in the lady's hand from the moment we arrived at the scene.
Is that so? There's something about this statement that's not sitting right with me. And the two mysteries of how that knife ended up in her back... There. The two mysteries of how that knife ended up in her back and how that book ended up in her hand. There must be some common thread between them.
I'm so sorry, Mr. Naruhodo. I had no right to speak out.
I've got it. She must have rented that knife from the library.
Okay, hold the fuck up. His name is Mr. Naruhodo, as in Mr. Understand.
Yes.
Or Mr. I see.
Well, I mean, so is Phoenix Wright's Japanese name is Ryuichi Naruhodo. This guy's his ancestor.
Oh my god, I kind of love that.
I requested the cross-examination of Mrs. Garrett without consulting you, even if the judge did deny me.
Oh, I see. Well, I agree with you. We do need the testimony from Mrs. Garadeb if we're ever going to find the truth of this matter.
Do you really think so?
Well,
No.
Oh.
Guilty.
Well, aren't you the defense? Yes, but I'm tired. Guilty. Well, think about it. No matter how far it is across the road or how that window opens, Mr. Garadeb's book found its way to the scene of the crime somehow, didn't it?
You're right!
And then there was Mrs. Garadeb's reaction to me showing her the knife. The woman's hiding something, I'm sure of it.
It was the fucking love note, I'm telling you!
We need to use this cross-examination to uncover more clues. We'll get to the bottom of this one way or another, I swear. Alright. Okay, I don't think I pressed this one. How can you say that for certain?
A very good question, sir. Innocent. And the answer is this. It has the noble founding principles of the force written on it as a reminder to all us policemen of our sworn duty.
He showed us that before, didn't he?
Did he? Can't say I remember.
To patrol the streets of London town and uphold the peace of the common man. That's what the job's all about, other than the abuse. And that is why I can stand here today beside my long-suffering wife and tell you a Bobby's good for his word. We're above the law, rubbing my tired eyes, admittedly. Sir!
Oh, Rowley, you're so manly, all 5'2" of you.
Of course I am, my darling Patricia, all 4'1"
My
of
short
you.
king!
Oh, Pat!
Oh, Rowley!
Ugh. No, none of this is what I meant. I mean, how can you say this? God, this game is so much funnier if you read him as, like, very, very gay and annoyed. I mean, how can you say for certain that this case has nothing to do with Mr. and Mrs. Garrett?
Oh, I see, sir. You should have said earlier, sir. So earlier, sir.
Yes, well, could you answer the question? That was a waste of time then.
Absolutely, sir. I will answer it to the fullest of my ability, sir. There's a surprising reason why Mr. and Mrs. Garadeb's domestic dispute can't be related to this case.
They've both been dead for 40 years.
Top 5 reason they're not related to this case. Number 3 might surprise you. Before I get into that, sir, just one thing.
Yes?
I'd very much like you and all your countrymen to understand the great British institution of Scotland Yard. So I hope you'll take back some tales of us London bobbies and how we uphold our guiding principles.
Wasn't planning on going back just yet. I've only just arrived here.
So to that end, sir, I'd be happy to lend you my evidence. But I must warn you, you won't be able to get through it without shedding a few tears.
Thank you. I'll try. Okay. Let's take a look at our evidence.
The last thing you would want in your assault case is Mr. and Mrs. Garadeb, but that might just be what you get.
Policemen will strive to preserve peace. Expected to walk 20 miles. Any items... Oh, any crimes fall into the jurisdiction of the beat in which they are discovered. And it's not... Okay.
It's not Rolly's beat.
It's not Rolly's
Yeah, it's not
beat.
Rolly's beat.
When a crime is discovered on his beat. Okay. Let's see, is there anywhere that
I wonder if there's gonna be some weird shit around someone moved the body to change what beat it was, who had jurisdiction for some contrived reason.
Sounds exactly like something Ace Attorney would do.
Possibly. I don't think any of these really sound like a contradiction in that regard, though. This is
Have you pressed the statement that's like, I didn't take my eye off the crime scene for a single second? Sometimes they'll make statements like that, and you're like, but you said you looked at the bottle of ketchup.
Yeah, let me look. They don't fully open fully.
Yes, sir. I'm trying to remember if I saw this one. It's a window.
It's a window. Would simply strike me.
Okay.
Here is a location where objects have fallen.
That's right out the window.
Yes, directly opposite the scene of the crime, on the other side of the rather wide road.
Would it have been so hard for somebody to mention this top-hinged casement thing before? Well, I have another question for you, Constable.
As much.
Yeah. How do you even know? What? How do you even know? Why would you have any idea what sort of windows Mr. and Mr. Garridub's house is furnished with?
Oh, well, sir, that's very simple. You said, oh, hello. Why talk to me when you can talk to my pretty, pretty wife? Excuse me.
I'm the pretty wife.
Excuse me.
Do you have... no,
Excuse
wrong.
me.
Do you have something to add, Mrs. Beat?
Sorry.
You look, well, delighted. Is there some particular reason for that?
No, I was just remembering, that's all. We really were so lucky.
Lucky? What do you mean?
Well, of course I feel terrible for the poor woman who was attacked. Don't misunderstand me, please. But we were just so lucky that Rowley could get this fucking promotion because of this, you know?
Oh, I hadn't realized.
Oh yes, that street, Briar Road. That's the boundary between Rowley Street and the next one. Isn't that right, my love?
Oh, yeah, okay, so they moved the
Maybe
body
that-
from one side to the other. You were right, Aram. Constable Beat.
Huh? Oh, yes, that's right.
Oh, his little helmet.
I want to give Savvy someone. I was hoping the jurors would come back so I could sacrifice one of my guys because it's been so long since we've had you. I don't want to give up Rolly though because I really like
No,
rooting
you're good.
for him. Okay.
I'm just vibing, my man.
All right.
That's the reason I was helping out with interviewing the occupants of the Garridub household yesterday. Their house is on my beat, you see, sir.
That really was cutting it close then.
Constable, I wonder if you could clarify something. Are you fucking stupid? If the Garridub household is on your beat, does that mean that the pavement next to it is as well?
Outside Mr. Garridub's house? Yes, ma'am.
No, on the other side of the fucking world.
Don't be mean. Darling, she's being mean to me.
Kill Rowley!
Bark, bark. The pavement on... Never mind. The pavement on that side of the road is part of my beat.
I see. I was unaware of that.
Hold on just a moment, I'm getting an intrusive email. Just think, if the woman had been attacked just on the other side of Briar Road, we would never have been able to go for that meal to celebrate our wedding anniversary. But that's the life of a Bobby after
Well, maybe
all.
it was the. Oh, okay. I guess it was actually slightly the opposite. I bet it was on his beat, and they moved it off so that it would be out of his jurisdiction, and they wouldn't. Well, no, but then why would he? Okay, I'm sure that's like something. Like anyway, extraordinary people.
Do you know what I think? I think it was the good Lord's way of rewarding my Rowley for all of his hard work.
Okay, no, they're straight.
Yeah. Don't you think so, my darling?
That must be it, Pat, my love. That must be it.
I think perhaps we should make sure we have that information officially on record.
Earlier you called me a bee, but really we're both wasps.
Leave it to me, Mr. Naruhodo. I'll take care of it immediately.
Okay. Alright.
And now it's my turn, I think.
Let's take a look at that evidence. I am crying!
The sound of tears exiting the tear ducts.
All right. Okay. I guess it's just in the initial part. It's just the border of which runs down the middle of Briar Road. Did the map get updated as well? No.
No, the map doesn't show the beats, but
I'm unsure where. Oh, wait, this is new.
yeah.
Can I ask you something, please, Mr. Lawyer, sir?
Oh, yes, of course. What is it?
You're doubting us, aren't you? I can tell.
What? I wasn't really. I mean, what's she doing?
Please, just because I'm a woman, it doesn't make my testimony any less valuable. You might just see me as the wife of a policeman, but I'm a woman of my word, I am.
I really do. Oops.
No excuses, I don't want to hear it.
Okay.
My voice will be heard. I'm a suffragette. My lord, you'll let me speak, won't you? I'll stab you with my
Yes,
hat
Mrs.
pin.
Beat, I will allow you to supplement your testimony if you so desire. Sometimes the path of least resistance is the sage one.
Smart man.
That was a very loud mutter.
I heard that. That Japanese man thinks a policeman's wife's word counts for nothing, does he?
Didn't
Hold
say
on, I have a
that.
burp. Okay. Well, watch out, sir.
Thanks
I might
for-
let you get...
Thanks for doing that right on the back of my neck, love.
Well, with it being a London winter, I have to keep you warm.
Oh, keep going.
Well, watch out, sir. I might let you get away with something like that, but my Rowley won't.
Duly noted, Mrs. Beat. Please, I humbly ask you to continue speaking, I mean.
What could she possibly be about to say, I wonder?
Hey,
Hey.
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 My sense of yeah, her direction sucks. She literally just fucked it up. Oh shit, god damn it.
What's up, Amy? No, he ain't doing nothing.
He's disturbing me.
In your room?
It's there.
In the bathroom? Let him live his life.
How am I supposed to pee like this?
Yam, you are on stream.
You're on stream. They can hear you.
Well, yeah, she was peeing.
I know, and yes, Will.
Let me go get rid of the bug.
Oh, I thought she was talking about Al, maybe, and I was like, what?
He's just staring!
Okay. Let's press this, because I don't think...
there's something really, like, deeply satisfying and humorous to me about this particular aspect of Civ and Yam's live-in relationship, that Yam is over 6 feet tall, but like not good with bugs, and Civ will fearlessly stride in and kill spiders for her.
Oh, Civ doesn't kill the spider. She always
does?
catches
Oh.
them. No.
Okay.
Mrs. Beat, nobody is questioning what you've told us. Savvy, you want to tag in while Civ is up?
I saw it, I did. That evening, I saw it clearly. That little Eastern man with the whiskers and the funny curved back, slinking away from the scene. And I know what I didn't see as well. I didn't see any flaming books or knives flying through the sky.
I'm
All
back.
very clear. You also mentioned something about having a poor sense of direction?
Oh, yes. Well, that's a little embarrassing, really. I'm always ending up at the wrong place when I've made arrangements to meet Rowley. He gets ever so cross.
This fucking bitch.
Did someone
see
say
in
cross? It's time to talk about Jesus.
Let's see in chat. Wow, Savvy does a really good English accent. Yeah, who'd have thought?
I wonder why. I remember thinking, I think I said it during the stream, and then I thought it again during editing the Yesy stream. I think, I mentioned it straight up. I was like, it's weird when you're like putting on a British accent, it sounds so much noticeably less real than your own accent, even though you're barely changing your accent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you play it up, it makes it sound faker no matter what.
Alright. Constable Beat, is there a problem?
I'm dead. No, sir. No problem, sir.
Did your wife's remark just now bring something to mind, perhaps?
Oh, well, in a way, sir. Yes, sir. I was just remembering that the same thing happened that evening, is all.
You mean Mrs. Beat lost her way on the night of the incident?
Yeah. Well, you see, I sent her off to find a police box in the next beat over from mine, but she was gone a fair bit longer than what I was expecting. I thought she'd be back inside 10 minutes, but my darling was gone a good 15.
Oh, Rolly, you're such a tease.
What?
But the reason I was so long is because of the bouquet, silly.
The bouquet?
Sorry, what bouquet are you talking about?
Oh, it was a present
I put in her back.
Ooh! It was a present for our wedding anniversary. Well, he's so romantic. He saved up for it with farthings? What's farthings?
Farthings. It's like a small unit of currency.
It's pronounced farthings.
Oh, sorry, dear.
Shut
he
up.
saved up for it with fartings and halfpenny.
Halfpennies?
Yeah, I know it's halfpennies. I was
Okay.
fucking around.
He found in the gutter while doing his rounds. A cockroach he is.
Yes, how romantic. Farthings.
Jonathan, shit. I wanna fuck you, Rolly. What the hell?
Also,
Rolly's gotta be the least sexy name on earth.
hey, here you go. I have a terrible joke. What
Do
do you call the ghost of a great thief? A bouquet.
Ah.
Oh, well done.
I'd forgotten all about it until just now. Had you, my darling? I'm just making shit up. Play along.
Oh, yes. But that was just between us. No talking about it. No, that's me.
I'm
No
sorry.
talking about it to anyone else, darling. You have to promise.
That's not
Really?
suspicious.
Oh,
What was that about? Constable Beat looked very obviously troubled during that exchange.
I'm afraid I can't offer any. I'm going Scottish for some reason. Oh boy! I'm getting lightheaded because this is so fucking silly. I'm afraid I can't offer any useful insight, Mr. Naruhodo. But I'm quite sure of one thing. We have to ask Mrs. Beat about the bouquet.
Mrs. Beat, this bouquet you just mentioned, I'd like you to add details about it to your testimony, please.
oh, really? Yes, I'd love to.
You just get it as evidence, and it's like a thing of flowers with an obvious giant dildo sticking out of the middle of it. Oh.
Bouquet of dick.
What happened was I dropped my bouquet and ended up losing my way for a while.
You mean you dropped the bouquet at the scene of the crime?
Yes, that's right. Oh, I was so upset. When we ran over and saw it was a woman with a knife in her back. I was so shocked I dropped the bouquet Rolly gave me. It was in a dark spot where the streetlights weren't casting any light, so I didn't notice. How did I not notice I dropped the fucking bouquet?
I guess if you found a body.
How did what's her face not notice she only had half a bell?
Yeah.
That's the dumbest thing. And then you went to the police box to report it to the policeman whose beat it was on.
Yes, and I came back to the scene together with the other constable, you see. That's when I spotted my bouquet again. But the funny thing was, when I went to pick it up, it was nowhere near the victim's body at all. It was on the other side of the fucking street.
In case you need reminding, Mrs. Beat, the victim is not deceased.
Oh, that won't do. I was all flustered for a moment before I heard a voice calling me from the other side of the road.
Your husband, presumably.
Oh, Rolly moved it on his own.
Wow, Rolly.
That's right. Silly me, I'd gone over to the wrong side of the street.
Hold on.
Although,
The victim is not deceased?
No, she's in a coma.
Not yet.
I'm
They
going to
crawled
blame
over
the
to the
bouquet
other
this
side.
time. I can't think how it got there, I really can't.
So the bouquet somehow moved from one side of Briar Road to the opposite.
Curious indeed.
Isn't it? But the worst of it is, I forgot to pick the bouquet up again when we left the
By bouquet, do you perhaps mean this sorry solitary rose?
So sad.
Oh, it's deeply sad.
Oh. Yes, that's it! That's the bouquet Rowley bought me for our anniversary with all bits of change he found in the gutter!
It's like so sweet that she's that charmed by it. It's so ugly. It looks like a fish wrap.
Gregson ate it!
Maybe just call it a rose.
It's a really small fry with a lot of ketchup on top. But I'm not going to argue.
The thorns make for an interesting flavor.
Oh, it's got spice.
That's
Lord
blood.
Van Zeeks, where did you come by the flower?
According to the report by the police officer in charge of the crime scene investigation, it was found on the edge of the pavement in front of the Garadeb household.
In front of the Garadeb's house.
Although it wasn't noticed until the morning, as it lay where the street lamps cast no light. It was believed to be of no relevance to the case, since it was found on the opposite side of the thoroughfare.
Oh, thank you, sir, thank you! Could I have it back now, please?
No, I think for good measure, this rose should be added to the court record as evidence.
She doesn't protest, she just goes, oh.
Boils like a kettle.
But it's a symbol of our love.
Oh my god. Even if...
This is the saddest shit I've ever seen! It's wrapped with twine!
It's very stylish paper the flower's wrapped in, isn't it?
Be fucking nice!
Oh, suppose it's because I'm not used to seeing English print. Looks so exotic to me.
You are making a joke, I see.
Is something wrong?
Oh, no. I was just thinking that if I wrapped a stone-baked sweet potato in English newspaper, it might look like some sort of fancy cake.
Ah, Susato-san, you do love your cakes. What are we talking about?
This is a rose.
An English rose. It's such a beautiful flower.
Hey, it wasn't far off.
For what it's worth, this is a nice rose.
Yeah.
This is a rose, is it? I've never seen one before.
Do you not take an interest in flowers, Mr. Naruhodo?
I wouldn't say... Thanks, Will. I wouldn't say that exactly. But I know 3 types at least.
Gosh, 3?
Yes, plum blossom, peach blossom, and cherry blossom.
Perhaps you should consider branching out?
I'm not interested in
Learning
flowers.
some that aren't fruit tree-based, for example. He's more of a fruit guy.
Oof.
Yeah! What about the twine? Maybe the thing
I-
down there is actually,
I touched that.
like...
I touched that.
Yeah, I touched that. No, that was their first conversation, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Oh, I see, okay. I wasn't sure if the little brown piece of paper was actually like a secret note.
Yeah, no, that's what I was thinking too. Maybe we need to get more information first.
I thought if you clicked at the bottom of the rose, Susanna would just be like, this is the butt of the rose. He's confused with the bud.
Sorry, this is the arse of the rose.
This is the bum of the rose.
This is the bottom of the rose. Damn it, that shit. That's just what it is.
The child.
Oh, look, Rowley, the rose has a little bottom.
Isn't it just
He's got a little fanny, hasn't he?
Good grief.
Good grief! Rest assured that I shall do my very best not to forget Mrs. Beat.
Sorry, I got distracted by my
Rosie,
clever joke.
Oh my god, we're still... okay, we're still not done. Damn, alright.
No, of course we're not.
Okay. Did we press this one?
I think that's what we just did. Though.
It's hard to
Yeah.
remember. We've had to press this like 4 times.
Yeah, this is the most evolution within a single testimony I think I've ever seen.
The
Well,
rose
press
is
it
their
again.
child, you assholes.
So I hope we're not getting teapotted. Like, I'm sure we're heading towards the body was moved from one side of the street to the other, but
Let's take a look at what their descriptions are. The shock of seeing... Okay. Drop the rose where she stood. I think that might be the contradiction somewhere, because that's the last thing we got.
Yeah.
So... Okay.
Well, yeah, so that evidence, that description implies it should be near the body, and it's not.
Or it... Okay. Hang on.
In one of the Ace Attorney Investigations games, there was a teapot that was a vital piece of evidence that we kept faffing about with.
No, the teapot is a reference to a an awkward zombie comic where...
Oh, I see. I thought it was just the teapot that we were mad at.
Yeah, I thought, yeah.
No, the teapotting is in reference to an awkward zombie comic making fun of, I think it's Dual Destinies, where the victim will, like, say something obviously, like, oh, like, the actual script of that comic is, like,
the bellboy shot him and hid the gun in the teapot.
Yeah, it's like, oh, man, there was nothing, like, no one else was around the body. I have no idea how he died. I found him after the bellboy brought us his tea. The bellboy shot him, then hid the gun in the teapot. Your Honor, I'd like to direct the court's attention to this teapot. It's clear that evidence has nothing to do with the crime scene. Penalty. Witness, you may continue telling your life story. Nice. 6 hours later. And that reminds me of his teapot. Finally. Okay, can I please... Apollo, I think the bellboy shot him!
I see.
Okay.
So, my guess is you need to present the rose either at this statement where he says, you know, nothing was disturbed, or the one that's like, the last statement, this one. I think it's one of those, would be my guess.
Yeah, this is really tricky because... we got so much evidence, and it's like one of those things where it's like, obviously in real life, you'd be able to just be like, well, these all collectively.
Yeah, but I think the, oh, you moved the body because of this reason has more to do with this book, and what they want from you now is just the rose should have been next to the body, and it's not.
Nothing strange to report. Where's that bit? Did he say nothing, like, was moved specifically? Because he said that at some point.
Yeah, so in the fourth statement, she says Rolly was there to make sure nothing was disturbed.
All right, let's try that. Can I really quick?
Can you save beforehand, or?
I literally don't know how. I think it's options.
Behold!
Yes,
My son is screaming.
Yeah, no, we clearly know where we need to go. If anyone in chat knows specifically how to move forward from here, you can tell us, because...
Veracity B mentions, Aram is right, no spoilers. You need to present the rose now on a statement.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll assume it's this one.
That feels the most
like, we know what we're trying to do, we just don't know where to do it. Okay. Nope, that wasn't it.
Die! Die!
Present at the last one. Okay.
Oh,
how you know?
They fucking cranked down your life bar. Only three
no, I got hit by some bullshit earlier in this case.
Yeah, we had a couple of ass blowouts.
Completely unnecessary choices that didn't matter.
In terms of figuring out which statement, so if I remember it correctly, she said, I dropped it next to the body, and when I came back, the body was on the body / bouquet was on the other side of the street. And they said that the body was discovered outside of the household, right?
Yeah. I'm guessing... Oh, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, no, the problem... There is nothing in this particular statement that makes this a direct contradiction, but there's several moments in the presses that would have been a contradiction moment, so it's very unclear how to move forward. Which is strange, because they changed Patricia's testimony 4 times, so you think they would have advanced Rollies at some point. Your claim, Constable Beat, there was nothing to report in the 15 or so minutes... Ugh. You can read it, but that cannot be.
What do you mean to say?
In your testimony now, Mrs. Beat, you explained to the court that when you arrived back at the scene of the crime with the policeman assigned to that beat, the bouquet you had dropped at the victim's side was no longer anywhere nearby.
Objection. Yes, on the opposite side of Briar Road to where the victim was attacked. But considering the size of that meager bouquet, if a single sorry bloom can be so described. No doubt it was blown in the wind across the street, back into the gutter where it belongs.
Objection, dude, chill.
But if that were the case, why did Constable Beat not testify to the fact?
I don't know.
Oh, my book has notes on this. It says ACAB.
No one else approached the scene, and nothing was removed from it. Constable Beat swore to that on Scotland Yard's honour, for what that's worth. But the bouquet belonged to me. It has nothing to do with the case.
So, Savvy, I assume the, just because of how Americanized media is, I assume some of the police sentiment and reform shit has leaked into Britain. But, like, how would you say, compared to the dystopian state of America, like, how shitty are your police?
Our police are still pretty racist and classist. There is definitely a sense of, like people will just get stopped outside of their houses sometimes because like they're from a rough part of town or something. It's not to the point where like they're literally like, you know, just we'll just
there's
kill
less
as much
police
as we can.
murdering people, right? 'Cause
Yeah,
there's fewer guns.
There is definitely a very clear like certain kind of person who gets brought into the force, and it's usually bullies and and people on a power trip, and that leaks into the way that they act.
Gotcha. Okay, so basically the same, but they're less weaponized.
ABAB, all Bobbies are bastards.
Yeah. Who'd have thought that if you don't give them guns, they kill people less?
In America, you have ACAB, all cops are bastards. In Britain, you have ABAC, old Bobbies are cunts.
That worked so well.
That's why Rolly didn't mention it, I'm sure.
No, because sadly, it's not only your bouquet we're talking about here. More than one thing in this case is mysteriously the wrong way round.
What are you talking about?
Think about it. Besides Mrs. Wouldn't it be hilarious to see Ryunosuke like, oh god, you know what would be such a fun gimmick for a defense attorney in these games if they mimicked all the other characters. So like
Kill them off.
Like just imagine Ryunosuke doing the foot animation.
I love the idea that like as you keep running into more defendants, they pick up more and more traits from
I love
each
that.
one.
That's
So
really
there's
fun.
like this weird hodgepodge.
Shu Takumi, that one's free.
No, it's not. Write that down, Jello.
Besides Mrs. Beat's bouquet, there's Mr. Garridub's book. Mr. Garridub's copy of The Lion's Pride, which was thrown out of the window by his wife, would have struck the pane of the casement window, or that is cement, and landed here on the west side of the street. And yet, it was actually found here on the opposite side of the road in the victim's hand. Meanwhile, according to the testimony we've heard, Mrs. Beat's bouquet should have been dropped here at the scene of the crime on the east side of the street. But in fact, it was actually found here on the opposite side of the road in front of Mr. and Mr. Garridub's house. Mr. and Mr. Sorry, I'm bringing my straight agenda. No, you know what I'm trying to say. There's no logical explanation for those things unless somebody deliberately moved them.
What are you trying to say?
I'm sorry, I'm receiving bubblegum. The way you're talking, it sounds like you think my Rolly's done something wrong.
Don't you listen to a word that scrawny lawyer says? Wittering on about books and bouquets? What should we care? It's nitpicking, that's what it is.
Oh, good. Mrs. Garridub's come round. You might. I really like Ryunosuke's just like, I hate everyone energy, but I'm too scared to say it. You might call it nitpicking, Mrs. Garridub, but deliberately meddling with the scene of a crime is a criminal offense. It's called,
Tampering, Mr. Naruhodo.
Oh!
But the person responsible for this tampering cannot admit to it for a very subtle but compelling reason.
Tampering? You've barely heard the term before. Tell us, my learned friend, who would possibly have had cause to carry out such an elaborate deception?
Yes, there is someone who tampered with the scene of the crime that evening. All of the evidence and the testimony points to that one particular person.
Counsel, I must demand that you substantiate this conjecture. Who are you saying is responsible for tampering with the scene of the crime?
That would be so funny. Haha, just wanted to trip you up.
Obviously, there's only one person it could have been. Constable Rowley Beat. It was you.
What? A policeman doing something wrong?
What nonsense! Why would my Rowley do something like that? There's no one straight. No Bobby works more tirelessly for the people of London.
He has zero interest in cock besides his own.
There's nothing better in these streams than when you insistently make a joke for like 2 hours that you have conjured out of thin air, and then the game gives you the perfect punchline for it. Please have these then. I made them myself.
I made them myself.
I know. They look a little bit misshapen. I think they melted a little in her pocket.
Oh my god.
God. Mrs. Beat, you said in your testimony that your husband asked you to go to a nearby police box to fetch something. Oh, fuck, I hit autoplay. Stop that. The 15 minutes that you were absent from the scene is the only opportunity anyone had to tamper with it.
You're making it up. It's all nonsense. It's all lies. What about that Japanese man with the whiskers? I bet it was him. He did it. He had whiskers.
Objection! If that was true, Constable Beat would have seen him do it.
Oh. And forgive me for pointing it out, but when you dropped your bouquet, Mrs. Beat, it was after the defendant had fled the scene. Well.
Objection! First you make accusations about the landlord and his wife, and now you incriminate a policeman as well. But your accusations lack one very important thing.
Being in a position of power in our class structure.
You claim the crime scene was tampered with. But there is only one reason anyone would commit such a reckless crime. To hide something.
That's right. He's right. But my husband and I just happened to be there, that's all. So why would we have anything to hide? It doesn't make sense.
You've offered no motive for this alleged tampering, and until you do, your accusations are nothing but empty threats.
You claim this policeman was tampering the soft earth. Constable Beat had a very good reason for wanting to tamper with the scene of the crime. That's the key to this entire affair.
Mr. Naruhodo, have you managed to solve this mystery?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Court dismissed.
Counsel, you've made a very serious accusation against a London police officer. If you're mistaken, I'm sure I need not point out that your reputation as a lawyer will be irrevocably damaged.
Oh no.
With that stark warning in mind, I now explain to the court the motive for this alleged tampering.
Yes, my lord. That's honestly, I thought the exact same thing. Constable Beat's motive for tampering with the scene was to hide victim.
Where the
right?
victim
Where the
fell, right?
no, where
Yeah.
the book fell.
He doesn't care about the book. He cares about the victim because he wanted to move her off of his beat.
It's the love note, bro.
Where the victim fell to the ground. That's why this Bobby had what he had to cover.
What?
Where the victim fell? You mean where she was attacked? What are you talking about? We told you at the very start, didn't we? On the pavement of Briar Road, you saw it happen, remember? It was right there, as if anyone didn't already know.
That's certainly what everyone has been led to believe. But in fact, that isn't where the victim was stabbed at all.
What? What?
Why am I posing like this? Yeah.
Oh.
I'm beginning to wonder where this tumultuous trial will end, counsel.
If that's your assertion, then the court is dying to know, my Nipponese friend. Where are you proposing that the crime actually took place that evening? Look curious.
Sorry, you were 2 pixels to the south.
But that's...
On the opposite side of the road.
I don't understand.
Me neither. On the evening in question, Mr. Garridub's book fell directly down from the open window above, and your bouquet, Mrs. Beat, never moved at all. What did move was the scene of the crime itself.
Good gracious!
Objection. Perhaps you haven't been listening to the ample testimony the court has heard.
Hearing his in-game voice is so weird because, like, the vampire voice works so well for him. And it's just like, I am a human male. It's like, oh.
But these witnesses both saw the moment of the attack took place.
They think you're a bot. What? But I'm a human. I'm a human male.
That's one of my favorite jokes.
They think I'm a bot? I'm absolutely top. How dare they?
That's right. I saw it with my own sparkly blue eyes.
They think I'm a bot. You think I'm a bot, do you? Well, look at this. Slams leg on the table. I'm clearly a top. It was 5 o'clock in the evening and already dark. There was the typical London fog on the ground. When you saw the incident unfold and ran to the victim's aid, that was actually on the west side of Briar Road.
No, that's not true. It can't have been.
West side?
Sorry. Constable Beat then arranged for you to be absent for a while by sending you for help. And during
There's a bit of my harrow coming out.
Sending you to hell.
And during the 15 minutes you were away, he transplanted the crime scene. He moved all the things shown in this print, the victim herself, the 4 books. He moved everything, in fact, to the pavement on the east side of Briar Road.
Ordinary.
But the constable overlooked one thing.
What did he overlook?
The bouquet, I presume.
Exactly.
The prosecution told the court just a few minutes ago about the discovery of the rose bouquet. Lord Van Zeeks, fuck, I never remember. Zeeks said it wasn't noticed until the morning as it lay there where the street lamps cast no light.
I don't talk like that.
Yes, it couldn't have been seen in the dark, obviously.
Which is why it was only the bouquet that was found in its original position on the pavement on the west side of Briar Road. It's in remarkable condition for a flower outside in London winter.
I don't know
It
why
was warmed by love.
my brain just wanted to go. Actually, it's pronounced Balquet in England.
And that is the defense's...
Isn't that a big dinner?
is the defense's theory. No, a balquet is the front of the boat. Is the defense's theory about what really happened that evening. How do you respond, Constable Rowley Beat?
Oh.
Well, I'm very sorry. I didn't mean to nod off again, but I haven't slept properly in a month. Did I miss anything important?
Oh, Rowley, it isn't true, is it? What the lawyer said is all lies, isn't it? I know it is, because you're the most upstanding, righteous man I know.
I had a dream. A terrible dream. All the things I did that night. Everything come out. Everything exposed. Only, it seems, it wasn't a dream after all.
Good golly!
Heavens!
Order! 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 What on earth is the meaning of all this?
Oh, Rowley, why? Why would you do something like this? Moving a corpse is a criminal offense, isn't it?
Wishing the victim dead should be one too.
Constable, explain yourself. Why would you do this? As a respected member of Scotland Yard, your duty is to protect the good people of London town.
I can't say, sir.
What?
I really am ever so sorry about all this. For damaging the art's reputation. For everything.
I have a possible explanation. For why, on that particular evening, Constable Beat felt compelled to move the scene of the crime. I can think of one reason.
What? How could you possibly know? You, a foreigner, presuming to understand the mind of a Scotland Yard policeman.
Oh yes, clearly it requires quite a mind to understand a policeman. Just leans down and takes a bite out of his desk.
Explodes into a cloud of bats.
He takes a bite out of his skull.
I was envisioning he pops the cork on a wine bottle, downs all of it in one, and then just yells in the bottle.
And yet, Lord Van Zeeks, it is this foreigner who has uncovered the startling truth of the matter thus far.
Pops the cork on the bottle, contemplates it for a long time, tilting it back and forth, observing the liquid within, holds it like a corn cob and bites through the glass.
It would be beneficial to the court to hear this extraordinary young Laurie's theory. Beep, beep. Counsel for the defense, if you please.
Yes, my lord. Beep, beep.
Now then, I think you would better show us some evidence. Place it on the bench and direct your headlights upon it.
Of
Beep
course.
beep is our word.
Of course, my lord.
I thought it was Pip Pip.
England, Japan, makes no difference where you come from. Human emotions are the same.
All cops are bastards.
And I think I have a fairly good idea of the feelings behind this man's actions.
All doesn't matter where you come from. All emotions are the same, except for Pippity Slipplewhip. That seems to only be in England.
That's a bit of a singularity.
That sounds like the British name for a Pokemon.
Pippity Slipplewhip.
So
Use tackle.
I feel like it's probably the warrant card because that
We
includes
better
the.
check it first in case they're like, there's so many rules. You better say which
That
number
is
rule
that
it
is my least favorite thing. I hate that shit.
Oh, by the
I f-
way,
God,
sorry, you go ahead.
I'm just gonna talk about the game. So go on.
I was just gonna say, it came to mind while we were just going through the case. I saw a comment a while back that said like, in England, you will just get denied being enrolled into the police force if you basically have a certain IQ level, which isn't like strictly true, but basically true. And the reason I know that is because I actually got denied from entering the police force as a forensics member of the team.
Really?
Huh.
Yeah, back when I just come fresh out of uni, I didn't quite have my whole understanding of fuck the cops. I tried applying, and they had all of these questions and everything, which basically, in a long and short way, boiled down to like, what is your demeanor like? And I got denied, even though I had the qualifications.
Someone in chat. That's a huge win. Don't worry.
Yeah, no, I realize now.
The
that
size
I'm
of the
glad.
dub on this man.
I'm very glad that I didn't.
Well,
get it
you
anymore.
told me before, you were like, I used to be a right bastard. So maybe you were almost good enough, and they were like, he's getting too good. Disgusting.
I love the English dub.
I think it's this, though it could also be the rose, because that's their present.
I'm sure it's got to be the warrant card, though,
Yeah.
right? Because you haven't yet explained that it's it
That's
would
a
be
good
his
point.
responsibility if it was on his beat.
Yeah, I think it's probably the warrant card. I realize that I'm a foreigner in this land, and I have only just arrived from Japan, which is why all this information about London's so-called bobbies is completely new to me. I've learnt that, though honourable, patrolling the beat is the most demanding work in the world, for example.
Keeping the peace, looking after the citizens on his beat in all kinds of ways. There's no doubt that the young Bobby is charged with a great deal to do each day, certainly.
But for Constable Beat, the day in question was special.
Special? Oh.
Oh, okay, no, it would have worked with both. Great, good programming. On account of this bouquet, my lord.
That's wrong.
Yes. It was
Constable Beat had worked so hard to be able to afford this simple gift for his wife, and was so looking forward to taking her out for a celebratory meal.
When he and Mrs. Beat stumbled upon a crime along Briar Road, when he saw that shadowy figure through the fog collapse on the pavement ahead of him, what must have gone through the man's mind?
But sir, just on that one particular day, I was looking forward to celebrating my wedding anniversary. Mrs. Beat puts up with a lot being married to a bobby like me. I wanted to show my dear wife how much I care.
This is the warrant card that Constable Beat offered to lend me earlier. Inside,
You bitch!
Inside, among the rules for patrolling policemen, it says, when a crime is discovered on his beat, a policeman must assist with initial investigations and help detectives. Constable Beat, is that or is that not the reason why you moved the whole scene of the crime that day?
Yes. Everything you said, it's all right.
So, that's it. It was all to do with the boundary of your beat.
I misread that as it's all to do with the boundary of your heart, foolish mortal.
Oh.
Exactly. To summarize, the incident actually occurred on Constable Beat's beat.
Just his name sounds like the thing.
It was the first time since I became a copper that I'd ever cursed God.
Holy fuck.
Whoa! Stay close to me, Pat. The criminal could still be lurking somewhere. As we ran over to the scene, I had every intention of doing my duty as a police officer. We've got to report this to the station as quickly as possible. But then it dawned on me. I realised where we were, where the victim was lying, and what that meant for me. When a crime is discovered on his beat, a policeman must assist with initial investigations and help detectives. Why here? Why did this have to happen here? And why tonight of all nights? Why? It's a copper's job to guard the scene of the crime, so I told Pat she'd have to go to the nearest police box and fetch whoever was on duty there. It was then, when I opened my mouth to speak, it just came out. I couldn't believe the words that were coming out of my own mouth. This is the beat next to mine, Pat. So you'll have to go to the police box that covers it, turn around along Meep Street, and then...
It's an interesting and novel motive for
I like it.
interfering with the scene of the crime.
Yeah, I like that more because I thought it was because he wanted to put it on his beat to get credit for solving a crime. And I like that a lot more. Oh no!
Also, side note, I like that the opposing vampire man actually gives you credit when you found something and actually goes, it means this, rather than just being a fucking obstacle.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Oh, Constable.
I just wanted, just that one night, to take my Patricia out for dinner.
Oh, Rolly.
Just that one night.
You knew that if the incident was on your beat, your evening of celebration would be ruined, and so you decided to move the entire crime scene outside your jurisdiction, just across the street, to the east pavement of Briar Road, which falls under the neighboring beat's care.
You see, I thought, well, I was sure the victim was dead, you see.
I beg your pardon?
Oh, of course he did. Otherwise my Rolly would never have left the poor woman on the freezing cold pavement.
I see your meaning now.
But God got me back for his sins, didn't he? That's why I missed the rose I bought for Pat.
No, Rolly, that was all my fault. I should never have dropped it in such a dark place. I'm so sorry, Roly.
And can you tell us, Constable, how many books did you move from one side of the road to the other in total?
4 it was. Yes, sir. Definitely. 4.
3 of them dropped by Mr. Natsume, and the 4th being the one that fell from the window upstairs in the Garadib household, of course.
But what made you place that book in the victim's hand, when all the others were scattered haphazardly around, I mean?
Oh, well, sir, that's because that's how I found it.
How you found it? What do you mean?
When we first ran over to the scene, the victim was already holding the book. So when I moved everything, I made sure it was still in her hand.
You're sure it was this book, The Lion's Pride, that the victim was holding?
Oh, yes, sir. No doubt about it, sir.
She bent over to pick up the book. The knife hit the frame. And that's
I said that like an hour and a half ago.
Oh, I don't listen to you.
Oh, the 4th book's information had been updated in the court record.
So now it's my epiphany. You're welcome, everyone.
Thanks, Will.
Round of applause for Will, everyone.
I thought you said round of horses for Will. I'm like, no.
You know. Oh, the old British round of horses. Thought it was
British round of horses. You know.
I thought it was an open and shut case at the time, you see. There were only 2 people at the scene, and Pat and me both saw it happen. However which way you looked at it, it had to be the fellow who ran off. I couldn't see the harm, really. I didn't think moving all of it over the road would make a jot of difference. I suppose this is it for me now. I've had it.
My lord.
Yes, Lord Van Zieks?
Kill him. I believe that concludes the cross-examination of the witnesses. Constable, you may withdraw.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Prosecutor, sir, what will become of my Roly? What will happen of him?
For now, you are free to go home. The police will contact you in due course.
And give him a pat on the back for doing a good job.
That's what happens. Don't punish my husband. This was all my fault. It's because I'm always moaning at him for coming home late.
Leave it now, Pat. Let's go home. I'm tired.
All right then, my love.
One last thing, Constable.
Sir?
Let this be a lesson to you. In a criminal investigation, every detail matters, however insignificant it may seem to you.
Yes, sir.
Carve that lesson into your mind. And never again make the mistake of tampering with the scene of a crime.
Never again, sir. You mean to say?
Leave now. This trial is not yet over.
Sir!
This is my favorite case in this game so far, actually.
Yeah.
Well, quite a startling revelation, I must say. Whoever thought of a third party transplanting the entire scene of a crime like that?
Indeed, my lord.
Yeah,
Nevertheless,
imagine.
there are some immutable facts here. Principally, that the accused, Mr. Soseki Natsume, is the only person who could possibly have committed this crime. Come on, man.
Objection, come on, man. No, I disagree. Now that we know the true scene of the incident, there is someone else. Another person who could be responsible for the knife in the victim's back.
Oh, sorry, I was supposed to make it.
Forgive the discourtesy.
Please forgive the discourtesy. But I believe the prosecution is probably well aware of the possibility already.
Lord Van Zieks, is this true?
No, I don't know what they're talking about. Shut up. Very well.
Unfortunately, he's a good person.
Name the person if you will.
Oh,
okay.
And if further investigation is warranted, the prosecution has no objection to the trial continuing.
You will name this other person, as obviously her.
I don't like doing that now, I don't like it!
The defense would once again like to request the cross-examination of a new witness, my lord.
Once again?
My assistant made the same request earlier. In order to finally reveal the truth about this case, it is imperative that we cross-examine... this is a little silly. Cross-examine juror number 4, Mrs. Joan Garadeb.
Me? Me? Oh, dearie me.
Objection. I don't want to voice her.
Well then, Savvy, why don't
Savvy!
you voice her?
Oh, don't make me voice another loud middle-aged.
Oh, she's not loud. She's
She's not loud.
She's a little.
She's not loud.
She's just a little ball. She is.
That request has already been denied.
You chat already with the yesies. But the situation is very different now. Mrs. Garadeb, answer me this.
What do you want now, you little toad?
At the time of the incident, you were engaged in a violent argument with your husband, Mr. John Garadeb. In the course of the argument, a minor house fire was ignited, and to clear the smoke from the room, your husband opened a window that looks out over Briar Road.
Shall I?
Well,
Oh, if you want to do it, yeah.
Yeah, fuck it. Well, we're going with a voice like this. I don't know what we're doing.
I mean, you can do whatever you want. She's yours.
well, what of it?
Oops, shit. You threw this book at your husband when he was cornered with his back against the window. Upon striking the pane of the open top-hinged... Oh god, I hate this word. Top-hinged casement window, the book plummeted directly down.
Like this.
Finding its way to what we now know to be the true scene of the incident.
Yes, and I said, what of it?
During the argument, you were beside yourself with are you retching? As such,
Drinking water.
as such, you threw not just books, but anything you could lay your hands on.
You threw hands.
So, let me ask you one more time, Mrs. Garadeb. This knife, the one removed from the victim's back, have you really never laid eyes on it before?
I don't recall it.
Seriously?
Am I supposed to remember everything I picked up and threw at my husband?
Did you own this knife?
Anyway, the man over there in all the regalia said members of the jury don't need to testify, didn't he?
Conveniently, yes.
Objection. No! I have no recollection of saying that at all, juror number 4.
Oh.
Make no mistake. You jurors are not special in any way. You are not immune to the judicial process.
Unlike that cop who will get off scot-free.
Scot-free for Scotland.
Yard.
If you know something about this knife, madam, let the truth come out.
But that's just a common old garden knife. It could have come from anywhere. We have several like that at home. If it went, well, my memory missing. Would you expect me to know?
Yeah, this game, instead of, for stammering, instead of using a hyphen, it uses a comma, which I've never seen before.
Yeah.
What's that? Are you joking? What are you saying, please, Mrs. Garadeb?
Oh, Miss Garadeb.
Yes. Rabble, rabble.
Now you listen to me. I refuse to believe all this nonsense. I couldn't bear the thought that I had injured someone, you hear? I couldn't bear it.
Other than
Except for my husband, yeah.
Yeah.
Who, yeah, no, there are a lot of spousal abuse going on.
So yes, I want evidence. I want to see hard evidence if you're going to insist on this being my fault. You're going to have to prove to me that I threw that knife if that's what you think. Come along now. Chop chop, do your worst.
Chop
No,
chop,
stab,
you
stab.
say. Now, would someone who doesn't own a knife use such terminology? Well...
Well, Mr. Naruhodo?
If I had evidence like that, believe me, I would have thrown it at her already. Like
no
this!
more throwing, that's how we got this mess! Then take the stand, juror.
Oh.
The prosecution does not object to the defense's request to cross-examine this woman.
Thank you, Lord Van Zeeks.
I have never heard that word directed at me before. Thank you, it felt nice.
I'm going to have to testify.
Well, thank you for being so cordial about it. Ooh, again.
What is this feeling?
Making me want to put my leggy up.
What is this feeling in
Oh.
my cheeks?
Thank you for the display.
Thank you.
Excuse me, just a moment. What on earth is going on here?
As I'm sure you would appreciate, having observed it with your own eyes today.
You should really be saying thank you for this discourtesy.
Witness testimony can lead to the most extraordinary truths being unearthed.
Thank you for this discourtesy is the name of my R18 adults only erotic fiction.
Truths of which the witnesses themselves may not have even been aware.
I like the idea of them just fucking flirting the whole time he's talking.
So I demand your full and unadulterated testimony. Mr.
Unadulterated, I'm afraid, won't be possible. Give us your adulterated testimony.
My mother, every time I was blushing, called me Barrack Van's cheeks.
Mark my words. In this court of law today, we shall extract the truth. Do you concur, counsels?
No.
Certainly, my lord.
Oh, that's what I'm hoping for, my lord. Ray pops up in this court. What an awful bastard! This is such a strange feeling. For the first time since arriving in this country, it actually feels real. I'm here, in the Old Bailey, and I'm a lawyer.
No talkie, I'm Engie.
I'm thinking.
Witness, state your name and occupation.
Oh, yes, my name is Joanne Gary Deb. And I'm, Joanne,
It's
Joan.
Joan.
Joan. I'm a juror, and such like.
It sounds like even she doesn't know if she's a housewife or a maid or what anymore.
The court has decided your testimony is required in order to clarify matters in this case.
Oh, Savvy, just for reference, they were talking about how it's like their family is just under the line of like having enough money to hire a personal servant, which is a big no-no in upper class London society. To not have a human servant, I mean.
Yeah.
Not the thing that makes sense, the opposite. So she is just dressed up as a maid all the time, pretending to be a maid when actually she's straight up married to the head of the house. It's deeply pathetic and sad.
Ugh.
You understand, madame?
Yes, my lord.
You will tell the court everything that took place in your household on the evening in question. And I warn you, do not attempt to hide the truth.
That's what happened to the last guy.
A bone flies out of his mouth.
Why do people keep burping on the back of my neck? It's deeply unsettling.
Rolly, we've been married for a year now. I think it's time for our first kiss.
Mwah.
He blew into my mouth.
He burped in my mouth.
Oh, dearie me. Shut up, Jolie. Nothing to worry about.
Oh, it's his husband!
Aram!
Oh, I didn't know you were in, John.
Oh, God, I didn't think this guy was coming back. Wasn't only you in the room that day, old thing, was it? Rather, I think I ought to testify as well, don't you?
But what about you, me, dear?
I've been faking the injury so you would do things for me.
Don't worry, you worry about that. You worry that. You worry.
Oh, he's stuck in a loop again. Hold on.
That's my hard clean to sit, you daft bitch.
No need to worry about that, love. You poured so much scalding tea that it burned straight through my spine. Can't feel the bloody lower half of my body anymore.
Just like I planned.
I'm not the sort of chap to leave a comrade to face disciplinary action alone.
Oh, John.
I presume you are Mr. John Garrideb? Yes, sir. Former second lieutenant of the 3rd Regiment of the 4th Northumberland Fusiliers, sir. Seen my fair share of action, and now living the quiet life, as it were.
The quiet life were you not engaged in an incendiary battle with your spouse in the day in question?
You know, I gotta say, I was a little worried when 5 of us were in this call, because 5 is usually a crowd for this, but lo and behold, the game has delivered a character for every one of us.
Well, yes. Quite. I believe this may represent a first in the proud history of the British court. Calling a juror to the witness stand is unprecedented. However, the court will hear your testimony now, juror number 4, and that of your husband. You will recount clearly and concisely the events in your home at the time of the incident in question. Sir, at once. Yes, on the day you're referring to, the wife and I did have a bit of a skirmish. Can't recall the reason now. Knocked a candlestick over and set fire to the carpet. Soon had it out, though, and got the window open.
Meanwhile, I was picking up whatever I could find to throw at him.
Plenty of knives round our place. Can't say I'd noticed if 1 or 2 went missing, I'm afraid. That bally thing in the victim's back really was one of ours. You'll have a job proving it, I think. Sounds as though it was quite the battlefield in your household that evening.
Although an entirely one-sided assault, it seems.
Enemy caught us on the hop, sir. Had no choice but to dig in and take defensive measures. To be honest, if the enemy had kept shelling us for another minute, we'd have been toast. Of course, the veterans such as myself, it's only too aware that on every battlefield, you're just a gnat's whisker from death at any moment.
Are we still talking about a marital quarrel here? I don't understand the straits.
Well, I must say I'm dubious that this testimony will shed any life on the...
Would Aram and Civ, would you be interested in having Civ retake over the judge? Because Susano barely...
See the judge! I must say I'm dubious that this testimony will shed any life on the origins of life!
In combat, one's focus narrows such that surroundings are barely noticed. These witnesses may not be able to offer anything more than they have testified already. This may be a dead end.
Van Zieks may well be right.
Thank you.
Well, whatever the chances, we only have this last cross-examination to uncover the truth, Mr. Naruhodo.
Yes, I'm afraid so. I'm not. Thank God we're almost over. I like this case, but it doesn't need to be any longer than this.
Very well, counsel. Begin your cross-examination.
Did you throw a knife? Probably. Case closed.
Guilty.
The Battle of Garadeb. All right. Can't recall the reason. Let's see what we've got. I'm gonna review my evidence. Okay, can I open this yet?
I'm gonna have to get in early on the next case, if only to avoid voicing another woman.
Dumpy housewife.
Dumpy housewife, yeah. Just give me a different archetype, please.
I'm sick of being woman.
Is that something you guys say, Sammy? Yesy?
No.
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 What the hell are you talking about? I mean, I think he can recall the reason.
The reason is what you told us yesterday, I believe.
Yes, that's right. If I remember correctly, it all started because of a note that was tucked into the pages of a book belonging to Mr. Garadeb.
Chat can't see it because my cursor's not being captured, but anytime something like obvious is on screen, I start flailing my cursor around.
Because it's like, thank you.
Yeah. It's doing the, if you've ever seen those like VR Skyrim videos where people are like, what the fuck are you doing? You can see the character's hands just gesticulating crazily. I'm just doing that.
A rather passionate note, in fact. But Mrs. Garadeb found the note, discovering her husband's little secret.
And she gave him a mighty number of slaps across the face.
All right, this is me. What a sordid state of affairs.
Hell on earth.
Say, when a chap says he can't recall such things, it's common decency not to drag it all up. And besides, half of it was wide of the mark anyway.
Uh-oh.
Watch out.
Sorry.
Please stop burping on the back of my neck.
A likely story.
You did, though!
These waters run very deep. These waters run extremely deep.
And what transpired next after those multiple blows to the face?
Okay. Window was open. I'm just gonna press everything because I'm not sure how to just open the book and see whether or not that note is in it. Though I guess it did get moved, didn't it? And the fire also spread to some items of furniture, didn't it?
A bookcase, my armchair, anything of mine, really. Just so happens there was some bathwater around that evening, so I sloshed that about to put it out.
You. A most precarious situation you put yourself in.
Ours is a 3-story townhouse on the west side of the street, where the water main isn't connected yet.
Ugh.
Have to draw water from a public water pump during the day if you need any, you see.
Ugh, the old times.
Ugh, cholera.
The lodgers are always moaning that they can't get any water at night. Although that little mustached Japanese man buys water in bottles, I believe.
The defendant, Mr. Natsume, you mean, who has mercilessly stayed off the stand for this entire trial.
Yes, he receives a stipend for his studies, you know, from his home country. Can you imagine being able to brew a pot of tea at all hours? He's obviously very well off.
Have you actually seen the state of his room?
I believe he uses all of his income to buy books.
Well, anyway, the point is, I was able to douse the fire with water, fortunately enough.
Quick, pour some fire on it! Did you remember to burn your hands?
Yeah, you know
it.
it.
Scorched to the bone.
Give me a...
Speaking of which, shut up, chat. Noble girl bathwater.
Get out of here, you creep.
Get out.
There might be a market.
A marquee.
Ah!
Ah!
Reggie.
We just all start making fucking ape noises while
Jello comes back, we're all just hooting and hollering like ook ook.
So, you're a chimp. Ook.
Ook. Ook. Oh, you're a chimp. Ook.
Sorry about that. I think it's Texas voting season because I'm getting a bunch of really obnoxious correspondences about it. Even though the room was on fire.
As far as I was concerned at the time, it was more important to extinguish my anger than the flames. When a woman wants to throw, she must throw.
That is most certainly not true of a Suseki takedown, I was gonna say. That is most certainly not true of a Susato takedown, Mr. Naruhodo.
That is most certainly not true of a Kageki Shoujo, Mr. Naruhojo.
How did she know I was thinking that? So, please cast your mind back and try to remember. Was a knife among the items that you threw at your husband that day?
In all honesty, I don't recall. But I feel I must point out that I'm no monster. Let me see. Some bread, a cabbage, garlic, a towel, a sponge. It was really only soft items I was throwing.
Bullshit.
Excuse me! Do you have something to add, sir?
I heard you grumbling in the corner.
Mr. Garridan, I'm surprised he's got like a whole additional set of animations for trial, honestly.
Yeah.
Sorry, I beg your pardon.
Did your wife's remark just now bring something to your mind?
Nothing of any significance, no. Just that the barrage of projectiles the old thing launched in my direction was somewhat more solid than she implies. Books, bricks, and the fire poker, I seem to recall.
Ouch.
Holy fuck, missus.
And the woman...
Ah, not the pipe!
Grief, woman, we're not at home now. This is a court of law.
Oh, dearie me. Ever so sorry, dear.
What is she even doing with a teapot in here? Hey, Stabbiness is now playing Melty Blood type Lumina.
Honestly, John, I would never have thrown such things at you, obviously, if I was playing Melty Blood.
Well, take a look at this, then. How do you suppose that happened, I refer to my melted cock.
Sir, please put your penis away. We are in court.
Now if I... my hand as usual at the time of the onslaught. Afraid if I want to use the...
Slammed my penis in the car door.
Afraid if I want to use the Ballic cock now, I'm going to have to pour it into the ice cube container in the fridge, freeze the thing up before I go sticking it anywhere. It's a Bally liquid. Knocked my cock clean off with one of her soft projectiles, she did, yes. When I went to pick the thing up, it was broken in two. I'd like to see a sponge do that sort of damage.
Never
This sucks!
And Chad, I know we already did this joke, but I slammed my penis in the teapot. I see. Your pipe was broken.
Your pipe? It would never have been sent flying, because it was hit by something.
Forgive the discourtesy of putting out my charred cock in the court.
I managed to bandage the thing up.
I have it noted in the court record that the witness slammed his cock in the car door.
You all want to exaggerate, aren't you, dear? Oh, he's good with his hands with that thing, isn't he?
I wonder if we can make
I should be.
I have no idea what they're talking about anymore.
No.
The defense...
He's just spinning his cock in his hand like you do with a pen when you're fiddling with it.
The defense believes Mr. Garridum's remarks just now to be of great significance. No.
Objection, it is fucking dick. This war veteran's cock betray a fiery wife and pipes, as well as hearts may be broken. Sentimental wisdom, perhaps, but hardly worthy of adding to the formal testimony.
Indeed, common sense, one might say.
Might one?
In that case, would you at least permit us to examine the pipe, sir?
Have to freeze the damn thing first. Well, I don't see why not.
I'm sick of handling it. Oh, dearie me, where you go again, trying to ingratiate yourself with a young lady. She's always
We all
trying.
just shut the fuck up for a moment. Very well, the court will accept the gentleman's pipe as evidence. A single blown pipe.
Pipe!
Guys, are we just fucking children?
Oh, yeah. I hope I didn't. This is not Susanna's voice. Fuck. I hope I didn't speak out of turn, Mr. Naruhodo. I was temporarily possessed by the judge.
No, don't worry about it. I was also intent on seeing the old man's pipe.
I just was feeling rather disappointed for you that your request was turned down.
Oh, no, it's fine. Thanks to Susato-san, we have some new evidence to work with. We should examine it carefully. I slammed my penis in the car. Oh, it's the tip of the knife!
The knife!
Oh my god.
Jesus!
It's the tip of it!
They said the tip
Just
was
the
broken
tip!
off.
Just the tip?
Yes, of course, that's the tip. Where else would it be?
Oh, something just twinkled inside the chamber of the pipe there.
Yes, I saw it. Something's stuck in there, isn't it?
Let's turn it over and give it a shake!
It's a tiny fragment of metal. It looks like the tip of a blade or something.
Surely, it couldn't be.
Oh,
they actually removed it. That's kind of interesting.
The chip. Oh, sorry, the crisp.
There's a small nick out of the bowl here. Look, it appears to have been made relatively recently.
Thank you,
And
sir.
see how there are little scrapes and dents all over it? It's clearly a well-loved pipe.
Yes, you're right. It seems to me recently that being well loved goes hand in hand with getting some battle scars. This particular nick is catching my eye though, because it's clearly new. Looks to be in a sorry state with that bandage around it, doesn't it? But for some reason, it feels slightly ominous to me, like it's trying to shout out a warning. Probably because it's in the same blue as Mr. Garridum's dressing gown.
I suppose it must have been considerable sentimental value to Mr. Garridum, given that he's gone to the trouble of repairing it like this. Well, maybe he's just too fucking poor to buy a new one.
He might just be too
There you
fucking
go.
poor to buy a new one. Someone in chat, grow up, you guys. Absolutely not. That's probably everything.
We find
Listen,
joy in this one.
I gave up trying to rein these fools in years ago.
We have been home free on the prairie of clowns since we were born.
When it's
They're free range clowns, you see. I can't keep them tied down.
you can watch our Leighton playthrough, which is just me and Civ and occasionally Danny, and that one's pretty wholesome in our jokes. But the more people who aren't Civ you add to a call, the higher the chance of it being disgusting gets.
True.
Yep.
This is the tiny piece of metal we found in the chamber of Mr. Garridub's pipe.
It looks like the tip of a blade or something.
The tip of a blade?
Something wrong, Mr. Naruhodo?
I also need to burp now because I'm drinking bubble water. I really don't know. There's just something not saying that me, but I can't quite put my finger on what it is.
Perhaps in that case, it would be wise to examine some of the other pieces of evidence again.
I'm just checking to make sure I didn't need to, like, click it to be like, this is very obvious.
Oh, somebody's atting me. Who the fuck?
Tip is broken, I see.
Hold on, I'm looking at notifications.
Oh, okay, here we go. This is new.
All right. Give me just a moment. That's the tiny fragment of metal that we found on the inside of Mr. Garridub's pipe.
Yes, and just maybe.
Oh my, it's a perfect fit.
Somehow I just knew it. I bet we had to do that, and if we tried presenting it otherwise, it would have been like, no, you fool. That's my only flaw in this game so far, is that, like, you have to present evidence, like, or you have to check the evidence multiple times for it to, like, have obvious shit count.
By the way, piece of advice from chat, to, instead of just not saying the word you were avoiding, try using irking instead, because it's the same.
Well, thank you for that rebuttal, Mr. Garridub. I didn't catch the end of that. Now, if we could return to the crux of the matter, what can you tell the court about the knife used to attack the victim?
I like the word crux.
Yeah.
I think he has a statement that's like, you probably, yeah.
Let's try it.
Oh, you have
Objection!
To prove it, right?
Such a weak objection. Mr. Garridub, could I ask you to take a good look at this, please?
The head of my cock! You can ask, but I can't see a belly thing.
Good lord, man! Showing a man's foreskin in court like this.
Can't see a belly thing without my cock.
You can't? Yes, that's why it's called the eye. It's the one I
used to call me Dead-Eyed Dem back in the regiment. Of course, that was some time ago now. Even when I'm trying to enjoy a large print book by the fire.
Oh my god, that fucking face is like,
I struggle to tell a B from a D and a P from a Q, to be honest.
That seems important.
Deary me, it's rather weary being asked for all these. Am I drunk? After being asked for all these every other letter and other word. There you go. Did that one.
What? Oh, you must
be very dizzy.
You must be very dizzy.
What
I'm allergic to these.
Ooh, a cookie.
I'm allergic to these. These nuts.
Yeah, I knew what you were going for. I see you.
Yes, it's almost certainly from the tip of a blade. And what may appear to at first be just a tiny scrap is in fact a crucial piece of evidence.
Interesting. And where did the defense come by this evidence?
It was lodged in the chamber of Mr. Garridub's pipe.
The pipe, you say? By Jove, I wondered how that got there. And what precisely does this fragment of metal signify, Counsel? Are you suggesting that it is in some way related to the matter of the stabbing? I didn't catch the end. That's okay.
Briar Road. I am.
What?
When put together with another piece of evidence already in the court record, I believe this tiny fragment of metal will unravel the truth of this whole case, my lord.
Oh god, look at how fucked up his
You can
thing
see
is.
his underwear!
Oh, I didn't notice it!
You appear rather confident in that extraordinary statement, Counsel.
Very well then, present the pertinent evidence to the court. What evidence, when paired with this fragment of metal, allegedly... Oh, okay.
This is the knife that was found in the victim's back. If you look closely, you will see that there is a small piece at the tip that of the blade. It's missing.
Common issue with the inferior blades sold at unsavory street markets. Criminals who use them regularly leave the tips lodged in the victim's bones.
Jesus, that's awful.
Oh, is that why she's still a coma? Because she's got a bit of metal in her?
No, because we found that
have
metal.
the metal.
And what of this particular knife? I'm not paying attention. I'm chewing gum. I can't think and chew gum at the same time.
No doubt its tip has suffered a similar fate, now languishing somewhere near the spine of the victim.
Yes, a few inches lower, I'd imagine. No, that's not the case.
Huh?
The tip, I'd say I'm sorry, but I'd be lying. The tip of this particular knife's blade is the very fragment of metal we discovered in the chamber of Mr. Garridim's pipe. Hell of a week for us, Aram. A fortnight. First there's cum stream.
Man,
Good grief, Lord Van Zeeks! What are you doing, man?
Harry Potter and the Chamber of Mr. Garridim's pipe was probably the worst one.
Ah, my shoulder.
I don't believe it. The knife from the crime scene and this fragment of metal are a perfect match.
That pose.
Such a JoJo character.
Good golly gosh!
Kia.
Order! Is this some sort of Eastern sorcery?
Is this an Eastern breathing technique?
This is no magic, my
Does he have a
lord.
bullet launcher in it?
This... where?
Never mind.
It's the mouse cursor. This
No.
is a miracle. Don't touch my nips.
A miracle.
So Van Zeeks has figured it out, has he? He'd be a pretty bad prosecutor if he hadn't.
Counsel, explain this extraordinary coincidence at once!
Judge, please. Yes, my lord. The crucial point we have to ask ourselves is when did the fragment of metal find its way inside Mr. Garridim's pipe? Does it really matter? I mean, this proves it's their knife.
Something that was clarified for us in the most recent witness testimony.
Not to kick up a head. It would never be me.
Oh no!
Dear me.
During the argument between these two that occurred just as the victim was on the pavement below, Mrs. Garridim flung this knife at her husband, which is insane, and I think a crime, actually, by itself. However, the knife missed Mr. Garridim, instead striking the pipe in his hand at the time. That was fucking close, dude!
Which caused the tip to break off, of course.
Good lord!
Yes, and that is when the tiny tip of the blade found its way inside Mr. Garridim's pipe.
That 1,000,000 to 1!
And yet there's no other credible explanation for how the tip of the blade ended up in your pipe. Then, after losing its tip, the knife ricocheted off the pipe and flew out the open window. In short, this knife, which fell from the window of the Garridim's house, is the very same knife that struck the victim in the middle of the back on the street below. Please let that be the end of this case. It does not need to go any longer.
Well,
gosh,
we
we
haven't
do.
talked about the note. Well, I guess
We don't need to. It doesn't matter.
He might be like, but how did it end up in her back if she was walking? And we'll have to point out that she probably bent down to look at the book.
Objection.
You'll have to tell me about the lookie at the bookie.
A full-bodied theory. In other words, a complex bouquet of seemingly trivial points, plausibly arranged to create an almost pastel vintage. Allow me to toast my learned friend's characteristically Nipponese approach to bottling his arguments.
What?
But after all, it is just a theory. A game theory, so I've heard. Because you see...
Oh, sorry.
Oh my god.
It's spoiled by an insurmountable inconsistency.
An insurmountable... What?
Lord Van Zix! Leggy! What is this inconsistency you claim to have identified?
Only my mother may call me leggy. An inconsistency of the simplest nature, my lord. The victim was found with a knife planted in the middle of her back.
Yes, in her...
That's right, you silly little man.
Oh, shit.
Mount June, old thing. What are you getting so excited about?
Let us consider the basic facts of the case once more. The victim was walking along the pavement before being stabbed in the back and falling to the ground. If the knife that struck her had fallen from above,
Jesus!
There's no possible way it could have planted itself into the victim's back.
He must be drinking a port for it to just fucking set on fire like that.
Order! Sorry, I was taking off my sweater. I'm getting warm.
Right, you see, that's exactly right. If a knife had fallen on her from above.
My dear, are you making fun of my voice?
It would have struck her on the top of her head.
Well,
I knew it! I knew the light was there in the first place!
Yeah, but what if the stakes were switched?
shut up.
It would appear the defense has made rather a spectacular blunder.
Guys, her bending down is like the least insane thing about this case.
If a theory has even...
Do you guys mind if I kind of just zoom through this bit? So close, I can see the truth, I can see we're on the right back. One simple inconsistency. In other words... Yep.
You can do it! You've gotta do it! Get it! Get it!
Yes. Go on. Get it, my friend.
Get it! Get it!
Oh, she's on a box.
Yeah.
Oh.
Objection! Obviously she was bent forward, you clowns.
How dare you?
This inconsistency doesn't mean I was on the wrong track. It means that I need to sharpen my mind and dig deeper for the truth. It's a test! Yes! If the knife fell on the victim from above, there's no way that it could have hit her in the middle of the back. Under normal circumstances, that is. What do you imply,
What are you-
counsel? There's a piece of evidence. There's a piece of evidence. There's a piece of evidence. We have the answer. There's a piece of evidence. A piece of evidence? A piece of evidence? Show me the piece of evidence!
Don't make me scream in a bottle!
Blah, 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 blah. Oh, okay, thank God. We are, like, just jumping to it. Well, I mean,
I
there's
wouldn't
a picture
say-
of her holding in her hand. There is the
It's-
picture of her holding in
it's-
her hand, right?
It's the same piece of evidence.
Oh, it is? Okay.
This, the fourth book found at the scene. This is the final piece of evidence the defense will present.
The burnt book?
Is that not Mr. Garrett's book?
Yes, and to understand its significance, we have to consider how it came to be at the scene in the first place. This photographic print clearly shows the book in question. Yeah, see, both of them would have worked. Gotta hand it to this game for being the only one in the series that keeps doing that correctly. And the victim
That's
holding
really
it in her
refreshing.
hand.
But as we all now know, it was the police constable that put the book between her fingers like that.
Oh,
Right,
guys.
so, as part of his wholesale transplanting of the crime scene to the opposite side of the road,
He
so we did the
said-
same thing. Let's not dwell on it.
He said that he fucking said, come on. The one weird thing about this game's case structure is this is the third time they've done this where something like deeply obvious turns out like it's in like the last 10% of a case when it should have been in the first 30. Like the stake shit that came after most of the rest of the case. There was something in the previous one too.
I should say so. After being attacked with a knife, I don't imagine she'd have done much of anything.
So the question becomes, why did the victim have that book in her hand?
Jingo!
Hopefully. Time to play America's favorite game.
I'm beginning to see what may have happened now.
Oh, dearie me.
We know that the book fell from the top floor of the Garradub household on the pavement below, at precisely the moment that the victim was walking past.
Yes, but are we sure that the knife was a key?
No, it was in the sidewalk.
Sorry.
But what about the fireplace?
All right,
I
this
really
might
can't
be.
imagine it.
Yeah, good.
But I suppose
This might be the breakdown, so I am gonna keep going.
she might have reached down
Oh no!
and picked up the book.
He's an orb.
Yes, that is exactly what the woman in fact did. She picked up the book.
Oh heavens!
Oops, my bad. Sorry, someone.
Yeah, it's like, it reminds me of the stake just because, not even for me the placement within the case, just that suddenly, for some reason, the discourse slows down 3x
Yeah.
in terms of how many words they're using to get to the point.
Yeah, it's strange. I wonder if it's a translation thing. What position would her back have been in? She's really cute. That's right. Facing the sky, completely and utterly defense with a
Facing the sky?
Wait,
Her back.
her back.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, okay.
Then, in the very next moment, while the woman was still bent over picking up the book. That sucks.
Yeah.
The next object fell from the room above, the jackknife, straight into the middle of her back. And at that same time, walking by chance directly behind Mrs. Green, was the defendant, Mr. Soseki Natsume.
Well, I never.
It appeared to Mr. Natsume that the woman simply collapsed on the floor. In the dark and the fog, he didn't see the knife falling on her from above.
And from the other direction.
I love this pose.
Yeah,
Constable and his
really
wife
good.
saw no one but the victim and her apparent attacker.
This looks like something that Civ would draw for like the one dramatic shot of a "so this is basically" video.
So there never was a real culprit to run from the scene in the first place.
No, this was nothing more than a series of unfortunate events now on Netflix, 3 seasons that accumulated in I'm a voice actor, and that is the real truth behind this case.
Kind of interesting that, I don't know what the deal was in the third case, but kind of interesting that they've had 2 accidental murders now.
Yeah, I kind of wish the first one
not bad.
hadn't been accidental. It was stupid.
Yes, it was, kind of.
Well, Mr. and Mrs. Garradub,
Oh, the very first time you showed me that knife, I had my suspicions. So I was zoned. I wondered if perhaps, fucking hell, I wondered if perhaps it might have been something like that.
idiot.
There, old bean. You're
You
going
know-
to prison. Finally, my cock is
Mrs.
free.
Garradub,
My cock can now take gaseous form
her
and go.
domestic violence will lead to repercussions.
Of course,
Did someone
I never
say
meant for anything of the sort to happen
repercussions?
to your
I never
cock.
meant to stab the woman. I just wanted to murder my husband with a thrown knife.
It was all my fault, wasn't it? Your cock.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I take full responsibility for it. I let my anger get the better of me. I threw that book. And I threw the knife as well. The knife.
The knife.
John, dear.
All right. I know.
I'm ever so sorry.
Leans down to her.
Tell that to my cock, you bitch.
I'm sorry.
Oh well.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Oh, like the wedding photo.
Oh.
These poor drawers.
A bit rude to be sticking that knife in me back, innit, mate?
Yeah.
Oh, you got a stabbing license.
It's Tuesday, innit?
Tuesday, innit?
How about
She's-
a bottle of water?
She's been taken to the infirmary. It would appear that today's events had left her in an especially flustered state. However, I believe she will recover in due course. There is no cause for concern.
Yes, unbeknownst to themselves, they caused what could easily have been a terrible tragedy. They shall
Would
have to
have
prepare
been.
themselves. prepare themselves for the consequences of their actions.
Also, what do you mean them? Mr. Garadeb didn't do anything.
There is some good news, however, my lord. I have just had word from the hospital where the victim is being treated. Her condition is improving steadily, and the doctor believes she will regain consciousness soon.
It's strange. We've been talking about the victim all this time, but we've never once met her.
How wonderful! The woman is out of danger, it seems.
Yes, that is good news.
I thought she was saying how
Next
wonderful
case.
that we've never met her.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Soseki Natsume. Oh, hello.
I haven't said a word. Yes.
On behalf of my fellow countrymen, I would like to take this opportunity to beg your pardon, sir. You came from your distant eastern homeland to study our great British culture. I'm sorry, and have been repaying immeasurable unkindness. Please accept our heartfelt apologies.
You are a credit to your race.
Ooh.
God.
No, it's me who should be begging your pardon.
Oh no, Mr. Natsume, don't talk.
That evening, when the young woman just collapsed on the pavement before my eyes, I jumped to the wrong conclusion again in my confusion again. There was collusion again.
What confusion, sir?
I was sure that the woman was dead.
Yes, Constable Beat said the same thing, didn't he? He thought she'd been killed too.
I suppose,
I
she
suppose
must
she
have...
must have looked completely lifeless.
Okay.
Oh, that's you, I'm sorry.
It's been about a year since I arrived in Great Britain now, but I still can't get used to life here. I can't relax. I'm sure there are evil spirits lurking in the fog, like they're haunting me.
Poor
Those
Soseki-san.
are people, Mr. Natsume. Those are Englishmen.
Ah! But they're horrible white spirits.
Those are Englishmen, I'm telling you.
And they have terrifying teeth!
Damn it, I was doing the same thing.
Me too. No, they can't be. They can't be people. Have you seen the garbage they eat?
Again, Englishmen.
Have you heard the awful sounds that they make? Again, just the British accents.
Poor
Just, God, what's up over there? Ah, Spectre!
Back, demon!
What are you doing, mate?
Poor Soseki-san. His imagination really has got the better of him.
Yes, poor man.
Someone in chat. I saw English. So when it happened, I thought the young woman had been taken by the fog spirits. I never should have dropped my books like that and run away. I should have called for help, for a doctor, for the police. Instead, I've managed to create a rift in the relationship of trust between our two empires, and for that, I am truly sorry.
No, you're good.
Yeah, you're fine. Get out of here.
One could indeed say that some sort of mischievous spirit has been at work here, I think. One that had created a chain of unfortunate mishaps. We were befooled by this spirit and led to false conclusions.
And the spirit of heterosexual engagement.
But thanks to Lord Van Zeeks and our young lawyer here from the east...
He has a name. He's earned it at this point.
His name is
wow, look at
Learned
you.
Friend.
The chain has now been broken.
Lord Van Zeek.
And the spirit exercised.
I heartily commend you both.
Oh. Yeah.
Now then, ladies and gentlemen of the jury.
Yes, my lord.
In concluding this trial, I must ask one last time for your decisions regarding the defendant's culpability.
Guilty.
Guilty.
All right. Are you ready to present your findings to the court?
As foreman of this jury, I can assure you we've reached a fair and just conclusion.
I do declare the truth can be extremely cruel at times.
Well, I didn't suspect the woman next to me, that's for sure.
I'm here now.
Sitting in for the old bean while she's out of action, you know. But I know what her decision would be. Not guilty, hung jury, kill him.
Does this mean I'll finally be able to get out of here and start work?
Well, it's about time.
I say, I'll have a corker of a story to tell to the grandchildren when I get home, won't I?
If I
Very
remember
well,
it.
ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I hereby demand your final decisions. Mr. Foreman!
Not guilty.
Not. Oh, yeah.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Jesus.
Very well, Mr. Soseki Natsume, I hereby pronounce you man and wife.
And the crowd goes mild.
There, hold on, just a moment, I'm in a different window.
Oh, yes, Lord,
You are
sir.
now free man once more.
Oh.
It is my hope that you will continue to further your education in British culture, and may you never again be brought before me.
Affectionately.
Oh, yes, sir. Of course. On my life, I swear I'll never set foot in a courtroom again. I'm transported to tears. I only had 3.
Yeah, but it was a lot of
Toodles!
Thank you, counsels. Court is adjourned. Get out of my face.
Begins eating his beard.
Cotton candy.
Oh, Luke. Wait, you mean me? Of course! Is there another locum here? Is there even one?
Compared to the original locum student, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire, your name has become rather short, hasn't it?
What's wrong with using my actual name? Oh, at last!
Oh, that's
nope! I'm free! I'm free! Joyful, joyous, jubilant jubilation! Heady, hearty happiness! Hurrah!
Oh, I am pleased. Mr. Natsume is delighted.
Oh.
Would it be so hard just to say that then? Locum, you did it! You saved me from the brink! Like this! The brink! Well, what happened to the poor woman? What happened to the poor woman was in no way your fault, after all. I'm just glad everyone can see that now. No, not that! Lovely lawyer, locum lawyer! Yes. I mean, as I said before, I have just never got used to life here in Great Britain. Every time I look over my shoulders, I see foreigners. I see towering brick buildings, and from high up windows, I see them looking down on me, laughing, "Look at that little hunchback!"
Oh dear. I'm sure it's mostly in your head, Mr. Natsume.
But today, you locum lawyer gave my gloom the boot. You stood firm behind that baronial bench before all those blabbering British. You battled to the bitter end, laying bare the baffling truth. This has nothing really to do with anything. I don't like it when alliteration is used like it's a punchline. It's not. And when I beheld the blinding fireworks among the beams of the Bailey's roof, I bellowed, "Behold the best barrister ever born!" Well, that's very flattering, and we're very pleased for you. She's given me a wonderful anecdote to recount to my old friends back in Japan. An anecdote? Is that what's to become of all my hard work?
That's to be my life.
Probably Sherlock?
Probably.
Ah, there you are, my dear fellows. I
Shazam.
apologize for keeping you waiting. I rose late this morning.
Oh, Mr. Sholmes, what a pleasure to see you.
I am here not a moment too soon. A disaster has been averted, I'm glad to say. The trial shall begin presently, Mr. Naruhodo,
Oh, you
and I
dumb
wish you
fucker.
the very best of luck.
It's just finished.
What? No, then my haste was in vain?
Ah, it's you, Sherlock Holmes!
Oh, have we met, sir?
This is Mr. Natsume, the man you had arrested, Mr. Sholmes.
Ah, I see. I failed to recognize you at first.
I don't see race.
Our previous encounters have taken place in the gloom, either of your bleak lodgings or that prison cell. I simply couldn't place that curious face in the light.
Charming. This is all your fault, Herlock Sholmes. You're the reason I had to go through this terrible ordeal. I'm going to give you a piece of my mind. Stabs him.
My apologies, sir, but I assure you, I have placed you now. You're the fellow who abandoned that poor young lady and ran off, were you not? Had she been taken to the hospital more urgently, I feel perhaps she would have regained consciousness by now.
Time to victim blame.
But it was unavoidable, I'm sure. We are but human, after all. Anyone would have been shaken by such an experience.
I do feel very badly about how I behaved.
Well, never mind. Now then, what was it that you wanted to say to me, sir?
Nothing.
Priceless, get mind-gamed, bitch. Oh, I am really sorry, really, but cha-cha, that was quite priceless.
I love your Sholmes air. It's really
very good.
Poor Soseki-san.
Still, on the bright side, you've had an extremely entertaining experience without paying a penny.
Chat, gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss.
And it would seem you were not even found guilty.
But there is no bright side.
Gatekeep, guilty.
Whatever do you mean, Mr. Natsume?
Even after this, I'm still cursed by the spirits, and now by the Reaper! Lord Van Zeeks, I haven't forgotten, you know, what facing that man in court means. I'm passing a pool!
Come on, you can do it!
Even if you're found not guilty, you're still doomed! I'm possible!
Be alright, Mr. Natsume!
I'm shaking from the shits.
Passing a portentous poopy poo! I couldn't think of a fourth word! That's you.
No, I already said that. I said it will be alright, Mr. Natsume!
It is. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
If the Reaper appears trying to make trouble, I'll get him with a Susato Slam! Hi-ya!
I'm dead. Your actions have consequences.
With a perfectly executed Susato takedown.
As much as I like being turned on my head, a bit of warning might be next time, Miss Susato.
No.
Chat says, please not fart jokes, we're better than that. Have you been watching our streams?
Have you seen the highlight reel?
Also, gonna pop in real quick. That was not a fart joke. It was clearly a poop joke.
So, Mr. Natsume, what do you intend to do now? You mentioned something about recounting your experiences to your friends back in Japan. Yes, I intend to return home, I think.
Oh!
It has already been a year since I arrived here in Great Britain. I visited universities, libraries, bookshops. I've been honored with the tutelage of professors. I've learned so much about the wealth of literature here, and the city it has shaped. And I've come to realize that it is my calling to sail home and tell my fellow countrymen about it.
That's very touching, Mr. Natsume.
Are you going to warn them and tell them don't come here, it stinks?
I am! That's why I'm
good man.
Keep thinking.
Or in perhaps less veiled terms, you wish to withdraw halfway around the world to escape the terror of the Reaper's curse?
That's not it at all! The more I learn of literature, the more this strange feeling claws at my insides. There's more poo. I feel compelled to return to my roots and attempt to pen a work of my own. Oh, I see. A work of literature by Soseki-san. Could be an interesting read. Goodbye.
This feeling in my guts. I had beans on toast for 5 days straight.
I hate Britain.
And what about Miss Susato and yourself, Mr. Naruhodo?
Sorry, what about us?
Will you return to Japan alongside your mustached compatriot?
Well, my best friend died and it took 3 months for us to get here, so no, I will not be leaving after 2 days. Why would we?
A week has not yet passed since we arrived in London. And only now does it feel as though we have finally found our feet.
And you are accommodated in a hotel at present, are you not?
That's right. But we need to find lodgings before it bankrupts us.
I've calculated that we can only afford another 10 nights before our entire budget is exhausted.
Well then, you could take my lodgings!
Oh, no, thank you!
The windowless room. Ah, but what it lacks in windows, it more than makes up for with a floor, a ceiling, and walls!
I heard that as flaw.
Great. And of course, I'd be happy to leave behind the accursed evil spirit.
Oh my, an evil spirit?
Oh yes, am I pitching this to you well? It tries to suffocate you while you sleep. It's a gas leak, my dude. It's an infallible wake-up call.
No, I know what it is.
Oh, it's the cat. We'll think about it, if that's all right.
It's just a carbon monoxide.
Perhaps I can offer a more welcome alternative. Would you consider taking lodgings with me?
Absolutely.
Well, a vacancy has conveniently presented itself.
Watson's dead.
Though it is up in the attic, I might add.
Are you sure it isn't just a storage loft?
I spoke with the landlady this very morning on the matter of price, and Iris is cleaning the room as we speak. You must come at once. I presume you have no luggage to speak of?
Oh, this is simply wonderful!
That is quite nice of him, honestly.
What an honor to be invited to taking lodgings in the great detective's office's attic! I'm too overcome for words.
So suggesting we look elsewhere is out of the question, then.
Then it's settled.
Oh, sorry.
Iris will kill you. Iris will prepare a welcome dinner this evening. And you must come too, Mr. Natsume. I insist.
I don't know what to say, but thank you, and yes.
Wonderful. Then I'll go and complete the paperwork for your formal release, Mr. Natsume. It shall take up.
Somebody's happy. I love the way you're playing this. Yeah, no, Susato's in a tight competition with Raifa for my favorite assistant in an Ace Attorney game. And besides those two, there really isn't any competition.
Yeah.
I don't know. Are you sure you don't like Kay?
Someone asked.
What about Kay?
Someone asked during our Leighton playthrough whether I disliked Kay or Maya more, and I genuinely had to think about it, to be honest. I knew that you wouldn't let me down. Okay, there we go. For some reason, I missaw him as making that expression before. I'm truly delighted to have met you here in London. Likewise, Mr. Natsume. It's been a privilege meeting you too. It's a shame that we're going to have to say goodbye so soon. Well, I've come to realize that I belong in Japan. But, Locum, we'll meet again one day. Yes, I'm sure. And hopefully by then, I'll be a successful lawyer. Hopefully by then, I'll be a successful author. Does Gumshoe count? No.
Well, my dear fellow, our carriage appears to have arrived.
Kay is cool. Come on. She just is not. She is nothing.
Shall we go, Mr. Naruhodo?
Yes, Mr. Sholmes.
I have little doubt Mr. Natsume will be released in time for dinner this evening.
So, I don't want Holmes to die because I like him, but like, wouldn't you admire the balls on this game to make him a victim? And so,
Yeah.
with Soseki-san's innocence successfully established, we rode with Mr. Sholmes to what was to become our new home, 221B Baker Street.
Thinking Kay is cool is thinking Johnny Test is funny.
Jesus. Scathing.
Sorry, it's just true. Kay is fucking annoying.
So it's not bad.
Oh, this looks nice.
It's to be our new office, yes.
Our office.
Cleaned up nice.
Rather like the sound of that.
Me too. It's simply wonderful, isn't it? Oh, what? Oh.
Oh, I hope you can see this, Kazuma. It's only a small step, but I'd like to think we're getting a little closer to your dream now.
So, my dear fellows, do you like the place?
Oh, hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the view. The view is wonderful.
Just fucking every bisexual in the room perks up.
I'm not even attracted to men, and I'm like, oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
Like, you don't have to be attracted to men to acknowledge, damn, that's a handsome fucking man.
He's a good-looking fella.
Damn. Wouldn't mind investigating that crime scene. Oh, Mr. Sholmes. Yes, thank you so much for wearing that.
It's a delightful room, Mr. Sholmes! I simply adore it.
Good. Pleased to hear it. Iris and I are delighted to welcome you.
Ah, she's adorable.
Yeah! I hope everyone's hungry. It's nearly time for dinner. We'll eat as soon as Mr. Natsumi arrives. We'll have a lot to celebrate. Iris, you must let me help you.
Will we be in view of Herlock? Please tell me we will.
Don't worry, I'll scooch the chair over for you. All right then, Susie, you can be in charge of the salad. Splendid!
This game has a lot of very good characters.
Well, we're alone.
So, Mr. Naruhodo, flexes. How does it feel?
Puts his legs together as tight as he can. How does what feel?
Barrack in the window. Pray, forgive my discourtesy. I look politely.
I'm looking respectfully.
Crawling up the wall like real ass Dracula.
To have your own office in the capital.
It's very exciting, actually. I can't help wondering what adventures await us.
Oh, those were precisely my sentiments when I first established my office at these premises. Until I discovered the dark truth about the city of London, that is.
Sorry?
Bit shit. London is a glorious place, full of wonder, opportunity, prosperity, and mirth. But the brightest of lights casts the darkest of shadows.
Shadows? What do you mean? You know, Herlock Sholmes, A Game of Shadows, starring Robert Downey Jr.
Well, I believe you're well aware of the murkiness that lies behind London's facade already.
That was a pull, Jello, but I respect it.
Those are good movies.
So once again, Mr. Naruhodo.
This is my tit.
Welcome to London.
Very nice.
Oh, what a reward at the end of the case to get to see him dressed like that. Of course, at the time, I had no idea of the significance of those words Mr. Sholmes so casually spoke. But it wasn't long before my turn came to lift the facade and see the true depth of the murk that lay beneath it. Yay!
That was good.
Yeah. No, once again, I really love this game's cases. I think the problem is they kind of like, and this one the least, but I think they kind of whimper near the end a little bit, which is strange.
Yeah, it's not a problem that I can really liken to any other Ace Attorney game.
Yeah, it's very unique. And, I mean, it's not a huge problem. Like, I'm really enjoying playing through the cases, but I am definitely noticing, like, normally at the end of a case, I'm like, fuck yeah, that was the last punch, and they really make you feel it. And in these, it's just like, okay, end the case, please. It was good, but, like, we should have figured this out a little while ago.
So I think overall positive on this. I guess they kind of did it in Spirit of Justice, because they had two cases. They had the second case was just one day of investigation, 1 day of trial, and then they put a trial only case forth. But I notice in this game they're not afraid to do smaller cases. Like the first case is traditionally always just 1 day of trial, but then we had 1 day of investigation and no trial, 1 day of trial with no investigation, and 1 day of investigation followed by 1 day of trial, which I think is probably for the best, because they were really, really wedded to every case after the first one is 2 days of investigation and 2 days of trial. And sometimes it was fine, And sometimes it unnecessarily elongated things.
They wrote some stuff on purpose in the first game that was like, here's our 3-day trial system, and then immediately were like, well, that was awful, and we're never going to do a case that long even one time again. I respect that this game is making each case very unique in its gameplay. Like, first one was court only, and like, even in the grand scheme of this game, it didn't have too much to throw at you. But like, in the grand scheme of Ace Attorney, it was like, here is not only a trial, but it's fairly complicated for a first trial, and we're also introducing the like, you can hear another person on the witness stand talking mechanic, which, as far as I know, is only in the Layton game. I don't remember it in the other mainline games. And then the second case is like, we're introducing the Sherlock shit. And then the third case was just like, no investigation whatsoever, but like at the same time, weird, fun evidence investigation. And I really liked that, actually. And then this case is the first normal case in an Ace Attorney game, and it was case 4. So that's interesting.
Even from the small amount I've seen, I can tell that this is notably different in a good way.
Yeah. I like this one a lot. It's good so far. Okay, that's about it. We're gonna wrap case 4 of 10. We're probably gonna take a break after 5 because I have a lot of stuff I need to do and blocking out like.
Damn, 10 cases.
It's because it's 2 games. This was Great Ace Attorney 1 and 2, and they localized them both in one package. All right, so let's bug. You know what? Let's kill Stabby. Raid. Get him.
On the subject of knives.
Knife.
Go knife, Stabby. Go put a knife in his back with your stabbing license.
I don't know if it's actually Jay playing, but we'll see. Woo, goodbye.
I think it's Jay and various others.
All right, I'm gonna stop streaming.